What is up, everybody? I hope you're ready for some Warcraft 3 this night, because Fight Night Round 2 is about to come your way. Grubby and I are ready. I hope you guys are ready as well. And there's a lot on the line here, actually, because 2 weeks ago, we basically launched this new format on the Warcraft 3 Horizon. We had in Super Bowl versus HunteR, and the first champion was crowned. HunteR took the game pretty convincingly, 3-0. And the Night Elf race is currently on top of the game, also at the Fight Night. So there's a new challenger now, though, Grubby, right? And we have fresh blood to be tossed into the ring.
Yeah, and might I just say, I loved your interview with Pride, Kendric Swish.
Thank you.
I don't know if you pressed his buttons or if he is suffused of that natural confidence himself. But as it turns out, Pride, our new challenger for tonight's Fight Night, as he said in the interview with you, is feeling confident. He said twice that HunteR better bring his A game and that he's feeling confident.
He is feeling confident indeed, but in Super Bowl also was pretty convinced that he would be able to take down HunteR himself. So let's see if the champion reigns supreme yet again, or if the challenger will take the title. Now, for those of you tuning in for the first time, there are some special things going on in this format, and most importantly, we have a prize pool that the players are duking for. So none of the players will go home empty-handed. The champion or the winner of this match takes $200 home. The loser still goes home with a respectable $100 pizza money. And, Grubby, this prize pool will increase steadily if the champion continues to brawl and brawl and brawl.
Yeah, because there's this cool system here. Unlike most tournaments where, $200 first, $100 second, there's also a bounty. So this is kind of a King of the Hill system in best of fives. The winner stays, and HunteR is the winner from 2 weeks ago, so he stays.
Yeah.
All the bits that get donated get spread out mostly among the players and also across a bounty. This bounty is a prize pool that you can withdraw when you refuse to take new challengers. You must win a few times at least. And then this pool that keeps growing, you can walk away with it and say, I'm done with Fight Night for a month, at least 2 months, something like that, about 3 play days. That's when you get the bounty. But if you're greedy or ambitious or you have dreams and you keep playing and you keep facing challenger after challenger, the pot may keep growing. But should you lose, a challenger will take it away from you. Everything that had been accumulated thus far. And these bits, they are what you guys can cheer. Most of it going to the player. The rest is going to the bounty. And 10% for the lovely organization making tonight's Fight Night possible, HeroesHearth.
Exactly. So HeroesHearth is basically the mother organization, launching this beautiful event. And we're very fortunate, we're very honored actually to present this for you, because Warcraft 3 is currently, I think, going through a sort of renaissance with the, announcement of Reforged. I think a lot of people are back in the game. A lot of people are getting into the game for the first time, perhaps. So there's a lot of good things coming and happening at the moment, and we're definitely glad to be part of it. Now, Grubby, about our first map, or about our first best of 5 today. In fact, it's the only best of 5 anyways. We're starting off with quite the banger, I would say, because we're starting off with a map that sparks a little bit of controversy every now and then.
The Orc versus Night Elf, you mean?
Yeah, the matchup and the map too.
The map, yeah. Twisted Meadows is actually one of the most iconic tournament maps by now. Being a 4-player map, you do not know where your opponent starts. Being a big map and having islands and having a lot of unique features like that. Islands where you can expand and it's landlocked, so you need a Zeppelin to get there. That's pretty unique in the Warcraft map pool. And although it's not always very balanced, there's some spawn luck Are you spawning close boss, cross map? Do you spawn next to the opponent's potential expansion location or far away from it? There's so many influencing factors, but throughout all the chaos, the RNG, the luck, and the bad luck, there is still an order to be formed if you make the right decisions. It's a very cerebral map, and we're about to start on it. The first game has started. HunteR versus Pride on Twisted Meadows. It is close positions with Pride starting in the top right and HunteR in the bottom right of the map.
That's right, and you basically talked about this during the map intro that you gave, Grubby. The close position spawning locations are always a little spicy, you know, because, of course, harassing is a little bit easier with heroes like the Keeper of the Grove, for example, not needing to walk that far to potentially go into the orc base, harass some peons, entangle them during the tech, preferably. So this could already be exciting, but also, of course, the exact opposite could happen, right? If an orc, for example, spots the fast expansion of the Night Elf, it's a little bit easier to harass that one with a Blade Master, maybe send some towers over later for a timed push. So these close positions is like my favorite matchup that is possible.
Yeah, it's such an information game. You've just touched upon a small summit of a large mountain of strategies. And expanding is the name of the game right now for Night Elf against Orc. They have at least 10 different strats that Night Elf can do against Orc right now. But the popular one, the best one right now, is a very early Tier 1 expansion. The thing is, though, that's better on other maps like Echo Isles, Last Refuge, or Terranus Stand. We may see those later, but for now it is Twisted Meadows. And it's actually rather challenging to expand early on this map with mass archers, simply because the map is so wide and open. There are a lot of angles that the archers can be attacked into, and generally they like defensive and narrow positioning to prevent melees from mobbing them. So we often see Huntress openers on Twisted Meadows. However, HunteR, he is playing Ancient of War at the Mercenary Camp, which means he'll be making one archer, Keeper of the Grove, summon some treants, and he'll try to creep the mercenary camp. And unluckily for Pride, he is scouting counterclockwise, where a clockwise scouting route would have immediately revealed his opponent. So he's not going to know about this for a while, Kendric.
Yeah, that is true. So the peon, unfortunately, going for the wrong way up to this point. And I've watched a little bit of Night Elf versus Orc matchups lately on this map on Twisted Meadows, and I think there were some interesting strategies, especially by the Night Elf players. As you said, they have a variety of strategies to fall back on, and Moon on the WGL qualifiers, he fell back into a real classic, like an old school classic. He played a lot of Talons over the last couple of matches against Focus, for example, against Lin even, and had mixed results. He lost one game and won one game. So do you think that's something that is sort of a niche strategy here, or is that something that more Night Elf players could actually make a standard again?
Yeah, so Talons received about 2 buffs and 4 nerfs in their playstyle recently in the patch that changed about half a year ago or a little more. So it has become weaker. Keeper and his synergistic styles have received about 12 buffs. So there's been a large shift away from Talons into Keeper and Tier 1 style and expansion. Nonetheless, Moon still has a phenomenal amount of practice with Talons. I don't know if HunteR has that, though. Plus, there's the whole lag element of him playing from Peru and generally having about double or triple the ping of his opponents, that Talons doesn't seem that good for him right now. Great result here for Pride. He comes in, kills the Ancient of War, kills the Archer. A terrible start for HunteR here. He did the double Wisp repair on the Ancient of War, but crucially, as it dropped low and the Blade Master came in, what he did not do is use his Ancient of War to attack one of his own units. If you do that, the creeps will momentarily stop attacking the Ancient of War, and they'll chase the unit as well. That maybe could have saved his Ancient of War, but with the blades coming in, Keeper now, level 1.8, it's not that bad. He has his own items, he is level 1.8, but he doesn't have Entangle. That means that Pride can choose when to leave anytime without anything of HunteR stopping him.
That is true. Now, the Blade Master has been brought down pretty low already, but as you said, there's no entangle. So even though the health bar of the Blade Master is dangerously low, he can still dish out a lot of damage. And keep in mind that there is now a priest as well to dispel some of the treants, maybe even entangle at level 2. And look at Pride's Blade Master. He's not done yet. He's chasing down the Keeper, who has a big mana potion, but can't really use it yet because he's simply too threatened. And the Blade Master, Grubby, turns level 2 before the Night Elf's first hero.
Yeah, now the keeper also has caught up as well with that level 2 troll that he killed. But indeed, the troll Shadow Priest has offered that level up. So he doesn't heal himself. Keeper will actually auto-attack that priest to death, so good result. And now with Treants, Greater Mana Pot and Entangle, it's actually Pride who will start losing things potentially.
All right, and here we go. The fight is not done yet. Level 2 for the Keeper. Uses the Mana Potion, the Greater Mana Potion right here, right now to stay in the fight. But the Blade Master's relentless. Tries to go for the deny and goes for it.
Yeah, gets the deny. Great job by the Blade Master there. Now goes with another Entangle. He's using the Treants and the Troll Berserker to attack the Grunt. Keeper drops low. He has one more Entangle in him. Goes for it.
Oh, he goes down!
Oh, Keeper goes down. Oh, what a mistake. Great job, though, by Pride with that new Grunt coming in, going for the small little body block. Keeper actually goes down.
That is such a big deal for the Night Elf. Now, all of a sudden, there's no more pressure. And think about that fast expansion. Well, not for now. You can't really do that without the Treants, without the main hero. And this is more than enough time for Pride now to build up his own tech, to go for a tier 2 building. Are we going to see the Shamans like many other orcs like to do it right now? Or are we going the classic route with the Bestiary, with the Raiders? Let's see what is going to reinforce that orc army over the next couple of moments. HunteR already in production there, second hero. For the Night Elf, of course, the tech is still going, so that's a massive advantage all across the board for Pride right now.
Yep, indeed. We have the Keeper dying there, and actually a very difficult decision there by HunteR is he going to let the Keeper train from the altar, or is he going to build it from the tavern? When you buy it from the tavern, you get half-life only and 0 mana instead of the, 120 mana or so that you would otherwise start with. He did that, but I have to be critical in how he used it. The only reason to buy the Keeper that fast is if you're going to creep and do something valuable in the time that the Keeper would otherwise spend training in the altar. All he did is a level 3-1 creep. And then he used all of his Moonwell mana to heal up that which would have been healed up anyway from an altar revive. So he just spent a lot of money and Moonwell juice to creep a level 3 and 1. And I don't know if that's worth it. I don't feel like it was a high pressure situation where the orc is coming. He needs his hero right now.
Yeah.
So HunteR, he lost an Ancient of War, he lost an Archer, a Keeper, did kill 2 Grunts, and then he retrained the Keeper from the tavern. Very costly for him. So all he's got is pretty much this. These Berserkers, these 3 Archers. He needs to get results here. But from
2 Archers,
he is so far.
And 1 Archer, Grubby. The Archers are all falling like flies here. That Blade Master with level 3 is just slicing and dicing his way through. Now going for one of the Berserkers as well. Gets that with a crit. Crit after crit is raining down right now onto HunteR, whose game plan has been completely broken. The rhythm with a fast expansion is no longer there. So already he finds himself in this weird spot where the orc heroes just seem to be overwhelming.
Now there's no clarity left. Blade Master dropped low. He's windwalking away, leaving no mana to himself, and then using Heal Solve, and Keeper still has an Entangle. So he's going to go for another Entangle there. Keeper trying to run away. Keep in mind, there's still mercs to be hired. There's a Mud Golem and an Ogre Mauler for hire. Funny thing, though, with that creep still being there, if you hire the Mud Golem, you cannot slow an opponent immediately. There's no way to stop their immediate autocast on the nearest thing. You need a second. So if the unit is there, you can't... See, the Troll got slowed. He can't use it on the hero, and that's just... if he kills the Troll first, he can actually use it on the unit. But cooldown's pretty short, goes with the slow on the Grunt, and will be hunting that down. So Pride has this wonderful situation, but he's kind of losing it a little bit now.
Still has a TP, and this time doesn't fail to use it, so the Keeper won't go down for a second time. But guess who does go down? It is the Shadow HunteR. Now, mind you, it is a level 1 hero, so it'll come back very, very soon. Not the biggest of deals, but that was an important victory, actually, for HunteR, who's, once again, his rhythm is not really there. It's not a standard game for him anymore, where, you know, it's the orc being pressured into attacking that expansion over and over again, but it was actually him who was a little bit pressured himself here.
Yep, exactly. There is no expansion, so that means that we are going to be seeing the HunteR here playing with most likely Mountain Giant style, starting with some Dryads, and then going to go into Mountain Giants. He is a far cry away from getting like tier 3 mountain giants right now, though. Actually putting a Wisp in position for a potential expansion.
Yeah, and Twisted Meadows, of course, speaking of expansions, Grubby, that map is so large, it's so huge, one of the biggest in the map pool. We've seen crazy games of Night Elves just expanding all over the map, taking every gold mine possible, and then just, keeping the Orc busy in the main base with a little bit of a fake attack, only to TP out, and slowly but surely, they will then overwhelm the Orc with mass Huntresses, for example, mass tier 1 units. That's a style that Lowlight likes to play sometimes, but yeah. Let's see where HunteR is going to take it. I think he's stabilized a little bit right now. He's kept the Orc at bay. Pride's Blade Master, of course, now scouting, invisible. And I think he might be able to cancel that single-handedly with just his Blade Master.
Yeah, from the looks of it, that's definitely true. He has Windwalks to get out. HunteR doesn't even respond, so he's definitely going to let that go. In the meantime, taking a look at HunteR's main base, he's got a Hunter's Hall, but he does not have any Ancient of Lore tech. He's fully committed on the double Ancient of War with archers, the potential to go for Huntresses, but at the moment not making any. And the Hunter's Hall hasn't been used yet. I mean, except if he has Ultra Vision or something, but there are no archer upgrades. It's Stone Age here for HunteR. All those losses he had in the early game, they're still keenly felt.
Yeah, and speaking of tech, Robbie, you mentioned it. Slowly but surely, the Orc is getting this nice sweet spot where he has a couple of shamans available who can deal with whatever the Keeper throws at them, whether it's an Entangle or the Treants. Lightning Shield, of course, can also happen at any given point now on the ground, on a Blade Master. They can do terrible, terrible things against these squishy low HP archers in the backline. So I agree with you. I think HunteR is currently playing this very one-dimensionally, relying on tier 1 solely, not upgrading anything, not going for any tier 2 buildings. This could really come back to bite him.
Yep. There's only one way to win a fight like that against Orcs generally. You're going to make either a transition to something else later on, but if you're not, you got to make excellent use of Wisps. So Wisp will actually detonate for 50 mana burn on everything it hits. But these shamans, due to the lack of skirmishes so far for Pride, have full mana. There we go with one. Okay, they had full mana. So you need 6 Wisps to hit fully on every single shaman to remove the possibility of purges on Treants, Entangle, and Lightning Shield. We already have 1 armor upgrade for Pride right now. He's playing the meta to a T. Very chaotic early game and mid game, but he got what he needed. Delayed Elf enough, prevented the early expansion. Now he's got 2 armor upgrades on the way from the War Mill, and he's also setting up a watchtower with fortified defenses on the natural expansion and a great hall coming down as well at the middle top of the screen. And meanwhile, steadfastly creeping as well. This looks like a great situation for Pride. But HunteR is coming in with Moonglaive being researched right now, a few Huntresses, now upgrading 1 attack upgrade as well. Strange timing right before a potential attack, but I guess he's syncing it up with, okay, 1 more natural creep cam, and then I'm going to go. And that's his last chance.
Ooh, did you see that lovely golden orangey tomb, Grubby? That was a tomb of experience there for the Shadow Hunter on Pride. So things keep going better and better. And a powerful Shadow Hunter can oftentimes be the key to victory against Night Elf, right? If you have a strong Serpent Ward or Hex, depending on what route you want to go for. And most importantly, you have that strong level 2, level 3 healing wave. That can really be the neck breaker sometimes for the Night Elf when he can't kill the Blade Master anymore, when those beefy Orc units just overwhelm the front line.
Exactly, Kendric. You pointed it out. That's the key here for Shadow Hunters. He's got Snakes. He's got Heal Wave level 2. Blade Master is endowed with a belt of Giant Strength +6 as well, giving bonus 150 life. So he's very, very tanky. And they're going for the base trade. All the damage piling in now on the Great Hall. Pillage is being upgraded, but it's not ready yet. HunteR right-clicking the base. Acid Bomb on the peons. The Moonglaive bounces are real. Damaging the peons here. Huntress is nearly going down against
so many treants. So many treants in the base of Pride. So much damage against the Stronghold. And I think that Stronghold is going to fall.
Village.
The Moonglaves, they continue to kill all the peons. And the main building of the Orc is falling right now. No more TP. So Pride is committed to this. But guess who has a TP? It is HunteR. Is he trying to cut off the flight path of the Orc? No, he TPs safely. Realizes that he has such a major advantage right now.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great decision. Going for the base trade was the best thing HunteR could have possibly hoped for. He's now defending with Moonwells, having a pretty good position for his archers, but his huntresses are suffering. They cannot really bring about their power to bear into this snake wall. So what Pride needs to do now is say, okay, I've got an expansion coming up. As long as I can have a good position, this isn't that bad. Maybe hit a few lightning shields on some of those archers, starting to damage their allies there.
Yeah, the shamans are going to be key here. And keep in mind right now, guys, no more income for Pride at the moment. But at the top right corner, he's got his expansion running. And it's standing right now, guarded by 3 watchtowers as well. So this could be really his saving grace. I'm not sure. Oh, yes, actually, HunteR scouted that one. There's a Wisp currently giving some vision. So HunteR knows about this. What is he going to react to?
There's no TP available. Shop is being made. We see actually Pride going for the Tree of Life. He was actually dodging and losing crucial damage here on the Tree of Life. There's 5 Wisps left, but if you put 1 Grunt with Lightning Shield on them, you can do a lot of damage. I thought maybe he could just bum rush the tree, but crucially, Pride does not have a town portal, so he cannot take any risk that results on him taking a bad position fight. And he goes into this fight because he's 1 versus 2 base. He figures it's probably not going to get any better for me. And yet, I wonder, this is not the kind of fight he wants. He's got no snakes in position, blades dropping low, Acid Bomb actually dodged with the Potion of Invulnerability. Great job there.
Now he uses the Scroll of Speed to get out of dodge. He realizes the numbers are not favoring him right now. Too many Huntresses and especially too many Archers, even reinforced by this big Ogre Mauler from the Mercenary camp. That is such a big, beefy frontline blocker for all these damage units in the back. So Pride realizes, you know what? I'm going to be back on 2 bases soon if my main building in the main base gets back online. So all he needs to do right now is to get there, to somehow keep the Night Elf at bay. But as you said, Grubby, it's a 2 versus 1 situation in terms of mining bases right now. And HunteR keeps his level or tier 1 unit count, builds a second Ancient of War. So he's not planning on any funky techs. I think he's trying to probably put the nail in the coffin very soon here with just brute force rather than, tech quality or something like that.
Exactly. I mean, you add 1-2 Dryads, what's that going to do right now? I guess the biggest thing that he could add is 1 Druid of the Claw minus the shapeshifting form. Just keep 1 for Roar and add 25% damage on everything. That would be pretty cool. But still, that's a lore and a bear. That's 400 plus gold. He's just going to stick with his tier 1 units. Not for a single Roar. Just wants more archers and huntresses. Moving in now into Pride space. Going straight for the Great Hole. Great timing. Being able to take that down. And we see a speed scroll coming in. Pendant of Energy is actually still on the Blade Master. He momentarily rotated it onto the Blade Master so that the Shadow Hunter has a better healing percentage from Clarity Potions. But he needs to give that back right now or he will not even have enough heal waves to support this fight. And there's so much damage coming in from the archers.
This is a huge concave for all these archers currently not getting threatened, even protected by the Scroll of Protection right there. The Alchemist is level 4 now. That means he has now stronger poison damage from that potion, and he also has stronger healing spray. So that is like an equivalent to the Shadowhunter's healing wave. Both armies now very sustainable, but look at how these archers in the back are just uncontested. So many of the grunts have fallen right now, and the timing couldn't have been better for HunteR to keep the Orc on 1 base, the main building Stronghold once again destroyed. Even the Snake Wards cannot keep the Night Elf at bay any longer. Some of the Huntresses have died, that's true, and there are, burrows reinforced, so that could buy him some extra time. The shop is still standing. That should probably be the next point of interest for HunteR really to take down, prevent the healing and the mana regeneration.
In the meantime, there was a great Acid Bomb hitting 2 grunts, cancelling their healing salves. They may even go down to the effects of Acid Bomb. This turns out to be quite a noxious potion. And 1 grunt did go down, second one getting gunned down as well by the archers. Blade is actually effectively just observing from the shadows. Wasn't doing any DPS. Quick Purge on the Blade Master will free him from that entangle, and he goes for the Keeper. But without Hex, he can't take down the Keeper.
Oh, the Blade Master actually getting dangerously low there as well. But once again, the Blade Master, man, crit after crit was he slicing and dicing his way through there. So, Pride is tenacious. He's not going down without a fight just yet. And the territory in his main base certainly favors him, the defending player right there, with a little bit of extra burrow support, which is so great against the onslaughting Huntresses here. But is it just a question of time until HunteR just overwhelms them with raw numbers? That is the question to be answered here.
Very likely it is, Kendric, because it's 2 versus 1 base. It's a numbers game.
Right.
At this time, there's 1 creep left here. Oh, of course, there was still a unit in the Kodo's belly. So Shadowhunter just got double level up. The blade and the shadow. So we're going to have a case of level 3 snakes. They're going to cut through those huntresses so easily, like a hot blade through butter. But the archers will continue to be a threat. They're 2-0 upgraded. If he does not place something at the archers with Lightning Shield, forcing them to split and lose DPS, they're going to just tear him apart. It's going to be Entangle on Blade, Entangle on Blade, Entangle on Blade, and everything in the front line will die.
That could be a good position, though, for Pride to pierce in through some hunters unguarded. Only the Alchemist and some Treants to hold the front line. They're getting dispelled immediately by the Shamans, though. All of a sudden, this is actually a nice position for the Orc player here. The Arch is not yet in position here. The Grunt is trying to get to them, but so much damage from that focus fire.
He has no snakes yet. He's been so focused keeping his Blade Master alive that's his first snake. He missed about the cooldown for 2 to 3 snakes or so. His grunts are actually doing really good, like you said. With the Lightning Shield coming out, he's now got the Alchemist on the run. The Hunters are dying. But there could have been a lot more snakes here. In comes a Dirty Wisp from the back there, getting a full detonate on 6 mana carrying items. And actually, Pride is holding his own. In a 1 versus 2 base extended situation, there's nearly the same food for both of the heroes.
All the Blade Master needs now is 1 or 2 crits, and that Alchemist is going to be no more. The Purge comes through, the Scroll of Healing protecting him for now, but down he goes! And now it's 1 hero versus 2, and the Orc heroes could very well just make all the difference in this engagement.
He didn't use the TP on his Alchemist, or didn't have one. It got focus fired there. And
if he gets the keeper now,
with the Pendant of Energy on the Blade Master, it actually has a lot of Windwalks. Nice body block and hit. Missed an auto attack on the keeper there. And actually, the archers!
No way!
The archers!
Oh, 2 more shots! Down he goes!
Just straight up gunned down. No entangle, no slow, no nothing. Just a little bit of good old-fashioned Huntress body blocking. As the archers were like, wait a minute. You're low, you've got no mana, we're going to focus fire you down. And they protected the keeper.
When the Blade Master, who was such a great hero hunter, becomes the hunted, when he has to take a little bit of a swallow of his own medicine there, the focus fire of these archers, who are, by the way, 2-1 upgraded already, was a little bit too much. But now the army is split from the keeper. Can Pride go for the body block? Can he go for the surround? This is crucial. He
gets the surround! Didn't need the snakes either, and there is nothing to save him. Wait a second, there is! He's in range of the shop! He's in range of the shop.
He got the TP as well!
Yeah, he purchased the TP max range from the Ancient of Wonders. Uses the opportunity to gun down shamans with his archers. And he takes down 3 shamans in this, what should have been the crowning glory of the pursuit by Pride. But just in range. Can you imagine if he had made the shop just a little further back? He wouldn't have made it. He would have lost his keeper. Shadow would be level 6. And probably Pride would have won the game right there.
Sometimes these are the tiny things that make or break a game, as you said, Grubby. And that max range distance to buy not only the TP, but also a healing potion to keep the keeper a little bit longer alive, to allow the archers to take down all those juicy shamans. That was good to see. Right,
and it should be kept in mind now that the main bases have run out, or Pride's base would have mined out had he had a base, but it's still there. So we have a very easily defensible potential Expo used to be main, but HunteR's gold mine is gone. So we're looking at a 1 versus 1 base situation. Alchemist just got retrained from this tavern. It's just about finishing. There we go. And the Blade Master is also just back. So we look at it, 50 food versus 48. Pride, suddenly, he's crawled his way back into the match.
Absolutely true. Couldn't agree more. Now, the Keeper, of course, is getting dangerously close to his level 6 now, Tranquility, which can really make such a difference because there's hardly any interrupts. Do we have Raiders who can use Ensnare? Nope. Don't have any of them yet. Do we have Hex? Nope. So there is literally nothing that can stop the Tranquility from healing all these Night Elf units around the Keeper.
And typically, Shadowhunter will want to pick up Hex at level 7. Normally at level 5, you pick up Serpent Wards level 3, but he actually opted to go for the healing wave as he felt it was of paramount importance to keep his Blade Master alive in this kind of late game scenario. And he was mostly facing archers, not huntresses, so good choice. Normally at level 6, you'll then upgrade the other. In this case, he would upgrade the snakes level 3. And then at 7, you would get Hex. But I think against Keeper, he might just go with the Hex at level 6 already just to interrupt that tranquility. TP coming in from HunteR. He just wanted to get one more camp. He did. Alchemist should be level 5 by now. Has gone for Acid Bomb level 3. He cleared the laboratory and the red camp and saves his main base, which was about to expand in the bottom left. Now, is Pride expanding back into his main? Yes, he is. And throughout all of this, Pride has been at 50 food, which means none of that upkeep mechanic has been affecting him. Every single piece of gold he earned, he got to keep all of it, whereas HunteR is at 60 food. He has a bigger army, but the price for that is that any income you get is taxed 30%. So in a 1 versus 1 base scenario, the one with the smaller army keeps getting more and more ahead effortlessly, even without fighting, just because you're banking up more gold. Then when you finally push over 50, because the opponent is pressuring you, you're going to have a much bigger army. So the main key for Pride is not to take an all-in fight unless he gets a good odds on it, good position. He goes for it though. He's the one that runs in here. Is this wise? 10 food below. He's got 2 versus 1 base essentially. And if you count the upkeep, it's 2 versus 0.7 base.
Yeah.
And then you should not want to walk in. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he would buy a TP. Surround. Final grunt.
Alchemist is being caught here.
Is there a staff? No staff on the Keeper.
There's nothing. He can't save his second hero anymore. The healing spray is keeping him alive for now. The Blade Master, though, with the potion of invulnerability, keeps himself alive here as well and guns down the Alchemist with his mighty sword. Crit after crit. And the level 6 ultimate, the voodoo, the big bad. All the units are invulnerable right now. And he uses that moment to also surround the first hero of HunteR. No TP, only a healing potion, and this could be it, Grubby.
Yeah, Blade Master gets focused though. Blade Master in with the heal wave, Windwalk, he's invisible. And there he is again. Peekaboo. And the Blade Master lops off the head of this Malfurion, this stag, and mounts it on his fireplace as a trophy. Both of the heroes down now. And archers, yes, they're still formidable. They're going for that Blade Master. He's dropping to 40 life, but he can just pick up an invulnerability, heal scroll, maybe both. Pick up a parry up to fatality while you're at it. No, not quite. The Blade Master's still invisible. Alchemist got rebot. Goes in with the heal spray. He still had a mana potion. Boom! Straight for the Alchemist again. Invulnerability.
And now all he needs is a couple of crits. Down goes the Alchemist once again. The GG comes through, and against all the odds, the challenger takes game number 1. The Orcish Horde reigns supreme, Grubby. Who would have thought that after such a strong start by HunteR, with all that base that he destroyed, with all the great traits and decisions he made, that the hungry challenger Pride takes it all?
That was such an unpredictable game, Kendric. I couldn't have predicted it. I mean, just looking at the game, it looked like Pride's winning. HunteR's coming back. HunteR's winning. Pride is winning. And then the base trade, he took down the base. TP's to his own base. And then Pride is there with Serpent Wards set up. But he didn't go for like the grind, trying to take down Moonwells because there was too much firepower. And suddenly HunteR is in this positive macro situation. But Pride held on. Saw some opportunities to go for the Alchemist. And you know the funny thing? In normal games where you don't lose an Ancient of War at the start, you're going to have TP, you're going to have Staff of Preservation, you're going to have all the things that you normally have when you build up normally. But this game has been on overdrive since minute 1. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't have something so basic as Staff of Preservation because he never had a chance to lick his wound and take stock of the situation.
And, you know, you probably know that from your own experience as a pro player, but when you practice certain builds and you practice certain matchups over and over again with a certain strategy, and usually goes always, you know, in the same route, like expansion here, defending the Blade Master as here and there. But if something completely throws you off like that, where something does not go according to plan, it can really mess up your game plan. And it's really hard sometimes to basically get into that, I can imagine.
Yeah, exactly. You've got this mentality of, I mean, you know this from your try-hard Heroes of the Storm days as well. Like anytime you're in a game and like a lot of weird things happen, you can get this feeling where it's like, I do not accept this situation.
Yeah.
Do not accept the reality I'm finding myself in, that I'm living in a world where I would lose my Agent of War first. And once you stay in that cognitive dissonance situation where you basically don't like it so much that you can't accept it, you're going to end up being irrational, emotional, and so on. But if you can do the special Jedi mind trick, as in Europe now, may the Fourth be with you, if you can do a special Jedi mind trick of telling yourself, this is fine, even while the house is on fire, and you can say, this is fine, then suddenly you may be able to restore order and play normally. Be like, yeah, a lot of weird things happen, but let's see what I have now. I'm okay with it. So it's really basically usually down to experience in matches, but also how much you practice. If you keep practicing and you sometimes get those weird games and then you see them through to the end, you're actually conditioned to deal with that kind of adversity.
Yeah. And HunteR, man, he has to go through, events and thoughts and mechanics that he hadn't had to face 2 weeks ago, when he was able to pretty much dominate in Super Bowl and things were always going his way. Now, all of a sudden, he faces this unknown. What happens if I lose? What happens if I go or fall behind 0-1? And ladies and gentlemen, our second map is going to be Northern Isles. As a little bit of a public service announcement, by the way, in terms of bans, both players chose to ban one map, of course, and HunteR chose to ban out Turner Stand, whereas his opponent Pride decided to ban out Amazonia. Pretty understandably so. Amazonia, pretty much one of the best Night Elves map you could hope for.
Yeah, exactly. And orcs don't really like it. They don't like it in any matchup. The distance to the other base is too short, so they don't get a lot of chance to creep. And they don't have a hero that does so well at low level for a long period of time.
Right.
It's possible to play that map very well as an orc, but most orcs don't like it. I myself also have it thumbed down. So he goes with that ban, likes the bigger maps, and won the bigger map just now, right? Twisted Meadows. And this is the second biggest map in the map pool. After Twisted Meadows, or together with Twisted, we're going to get Northern Isles for game number 2.
And keep in mind, guys, that you can be part of the show if you want to support the Fight Night of Warcraft 3 here by HeroesHearth. You can, let us know by doing so, by dropping a little bit of Twitch bits here and there. It'll all go, the majority of the bits will go towards the prize pool. Some of it will be left for production crew. So the players will be supported. And of course, HeroesHearth as well, who is investing quite some resources into bringing this Fight Night format to you. So feel free to do that right now. And let us know who you think is going to win that. If you want to cheer for the Night Elves, if you want HunteR, the champion, the reigning champion, to come back, let us know. If you think the Orcish challenger Pride is supposed to take it, make some noise for him as we dive into the action here for map number 2, Northern Isles, HunteR versus Pride. And already we are excited to see what Pride can summon now. Is he going to go for another Blade Master? Maybe a little bit of Farseer action here and there? What do you think about the first hero choice when it comes to orcs in this matchup?
Farseer first against Night Elf can work. It is a dangerous choice, but if you come in with Feral Spirits and Chain Lightning at the right time on some maps, it has been phenomenal for a while. I think Echo Isles is the best map for it because it's a small map. Amazonia, you could do it as well. However, Oppo will always be level 1.9 on Amazonia. On Echo, they will only be level 1.7 after creeping. That means that the single wolf would not level up the opponent's hero to level 2. This is why Farseer can work. Thank you for the bits, Delarock 1000. Quarter going to each player, 40% into the communal prize pot. Great support there. Farseer, I think on Echo is the best. Pretty much on every other map, we're going to be seeing Blade Master. Yeah.
And already we can see the Ancient of War here being built towards the northern side, trying to go for the Ogre Magi camp. In terms of fast expansions, most Night Elves, I would say, would rather go for the Golem camp, which is the one on the right-hand side from HunteR's point of view. But sometimes you will see them go straight for the red camp on the top left.
The red camp on the top left for the Night Elf.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you see them expand into that. And you could actually indeed take it with Ancient of War and a few archers, a few wisps to repair. But it's risky, man, because a lot of
It
orcs on
is.
this map, they'll actually go shop first instead of barracks, and they'll speed scroll to the other side of the map. They're going to go try and interrupt this creep camp that the Night Elf is doing. However, more orcs will actually take a camp first, standard grunt opener into a belated shop. Both players right now playing their standard respective meta openers, and we're going to check out what the item will be for both players. Blade Master would generally love a claws of attack the most, then circlet, then gloves in the early, but he gets a ring. And Keeper of the Grove would love Greater Mana Pot, Scroll of the Beast, and Wand of Mana Steel, but he gets Greater Healing Pot, which I'd say both got their respective worst protective items in the early game.
Right. Yeah, unfortunately, the new patch is not live yet, so the buffed rings are not in the game just yet. Do you think that additional armor value will make them a little bit better? I mean, on some heroes, they're already quite nice. An Alchemist, for example, who starts with very low base armor, can definitely benefit of the increased beefiness, but most people would probably prefer something else.
Honestly, I've been loving Rings of Protection ever since I came back to the game many years ago by now. I have the feeling that we all used to underrate them, and actually reading some of the Chinese pro gamers who commented on the patch, I was surprised to see that my sentiment was echoed by them. That people are starting to understand Ring of Protection more than they used to, and therefore value it, sell it less, use it more, and leverage it on heroes that are required to stay in the fight. So rings have been getting better without any buffs. That +1 armor buff in the new patch that's going to be coming up, I think it may put Ring over their respective colleagues' item drops on the same level occasionally.
Well, you heard it here first on the Fight Night, guys. Ring's pretty good. Not as bad as many people think it is. So if you play some ladder yourselves, don't always sell them away. Don't throw them away just yet.
Yeah. I mean, you can't cancel Tree of Life as well if it's just you, the Blade Master, and it's the Tree of Life. Ring doesn't do anything there. You don't creep any faster, but you take less damage while doing that. And in those big fights, when 12 archers are shooting the blade, that's a sloppy mistake. You cannot afford to send grunts on the map when Keeper is known to be level 2 at any time in this map. It's so painful, but you just gotta hide them behind your gold mine. Blade Master is creeping a cool little item bottom left. He's doing the due diligence to make sure that there's no Tree of Life building. There isn't, by the way. Hunter dropped that plan and is just going for a most likely lots of tier 1 again from one base. But yeah, he picks up a grunt with Entangle.
Yeah, in the meantime, the Blade Master, of course, is a happy boy right now with 2 claws of attack +6, netting him a total of +12 bonus damage right now. And you can really see the difference here. Oh my goodness, with a crit, he takes down that archer. You can really see the difference in damage here against these archers in particular, as to compare, if he had found another ring, for example, or something that wouldn't give him extra damage. Now, he even steals that creep as well. He's now 2.5. Actually, a really decent amount of experience here. But as you said, Grubby, losing a grunt here and there, that really slows down his early game movement. He still has 3 of those grunts ready and available. And the Shadow Hunter joins the army right now.
Yeah, I mean, basically what grunts represent is Shadow Hunter creeping speed. The more you lose, the lower your shadow will be the entire game. So that's bad. It should be noted that one of those claws of attack was purchased at the marketplace in the middle of the map. That's 125 gold to get that bonus damage. Really investing heavily in that blade. Huge amounts of bits coming in. Thank you guys for the support. Seen at least 2,500 bits coming in here. People supporting the stream, supporting these players. It's all going to go to the players and the bounty. Now, Keeper comes in. Level 3 with Entangle level 1 only. So he goes for the surround on Shadow Hunter. Blade tries to free the Shadow, but the Shadow wasn't even locked in. Greater Heal Pot now being put to use. He has a second one. Shadow Hunter goes down with that Acid Bomb Focus Fire.
Yeah, for a moment, I was a little scared because normally you don't want to go melee range with a Keeper against a Blade Master and a bunch of grunts. But of course, with the number of items that Hunter had available, even swapping the Greater Healing now onto the Alchemist, but unfortunately for the Night Elf player, the Blade Master does not go down. All of a sudden has to use the TP because one more crit, one more Windwalk, and the Night Elf's Keeper would have fallen here. So pretty hefty blows. Oh, that Shaman just barely not making it. The healing salve was already on him.
Yeah, 3 really cool things happened just now. Let me think if I remember. The Blade Master, he bought a mana potion so that he could chase the Keeper definitively and kill him. That's 200 gold. He also used the healing potion, just another 150. And then the Shaman that died right before the TP with the final focus fire and the acid bomb. He put the heal salve on it, like you said. That's another 33 gold. Wasted, because it didn't work.
Wasted.
But more than that, what I really liked, double greater heal was on Keeper. He used it to keep Keeper alive. He kept the second greater heal on the Keeper. Alchemist started getting focused. And he kept the greater heal pot on the Keeper until the last second. Now, I don't know how well Pride was checking the items of HunteR. You can see where the greater heal is. He sees Alchemist is exposed, so he commits heavily to it. Last second, he passes it, keeps the Alchemist alive with a surprise pot switch. Of course, you could know that it happens, but it's still more deceptive when you do it this way.
Right.
And that just gave him a lot of advantage there.
I think Pride actually reacted quite nicely there. Of course, the damage had already been done after, he was robbed the hero kill that he'd been hoping for. But I think he stopped attacking the Alchemist as soon as the two Night Elf heroes, kissed each other while swapping items. So I think his reaction was, given the circumstances in the middle of in the middle of a fight, it was pretty good, actually. So I think Pride definitely checking the items on the enemy's heroes quite nicely.
Good first hero pick by HunteR, by the way. Healing Wave first. You don't want to go Snakes when you're getting heavy push sometimes with Entangle and Acid Bomb because there's so much focus fire. Hex prevents ability usage and reduces DPS. Ooh. Heal Wave heals DPS dealt to you. Snakes doesn't really help in those harass situations, so heal has been pretty good, but it's still a very slow way to start the game for an Orc. Nice around there. Good micro. This is Mass Hunt. There is an expansion up for HunteR. I don't know exactly how far along it is.
It's already entangling the gold mine.
Okay, so he's about 35 seconds out from starting to mine from that. He's winning the 1v1 base. He's got a lot of mining behind it implicitly soon. So this looks great for HunteR.
It really does, and what I really like about his movement and his rotations around the map as well is the fact that unlike in the previous game, he's this time making sure that the Shadow Hunter can never leave the base without contestation. So the Shadow Hunter is still level 1, cannot really farm experience from the creeps, cannot really go out, always has to fear that there's a Night Elf in his back creep jacking. So I think HunteR's positioning and map awareness is just top-notch this game.
Yeah, he's definitely pushing his weight around the map much better than before. The Blade Master actually gets a cheeky cancel on the Entangled Gold Mine. This doesn't cost Night Elf anything. The mine is free, time. But it's time. Exactly. You're delaying that double income for a bit. And the cool thing is, HunteR just got to 54 food. So he's paying the upkeep fee. He's getting 70% of all income he gets. Pride is still getting 100%. And he keeps canceling the gold mine. Oh, he tried to go for the quadruple wisp detonate to burn the mana, but Pride was too fast. He saw it happening, Wind walks into it, and that's 3 wisps dead in a second. And it didn't cost him any time to do so. So that was a big risk by HunteR. If he succeeds in the quadruple detonate, there's no mana for Windwalk. He comes in, entangles, and kills. But it was a gamble, and it did not pay off. Pride was too quick on the trigger.
Yeah, the Blade Master also didn't have a TP, of course, so that could have actually been disastrous for the Orc player. And some furious Wisplosions went down. But, sometimes this is something we always have to consider when casting and watching HunteR play. He plays from Peru, so sometimes the ping actually does have an effect. It's always a cheap excuse to blame everything on the ping, mind you. But sometimes in these milliseconds where it really goes down the wire, it can make a difference.
Snakes. Triple Purge on the Treants. Book of the Dead. Wisps come in. That's 1 great detonate. Second one. Third one. Removing all the mana from the Shadow Hunter. Only 2 Shamans still have mana. They're going to make the best of it. Lightning Shield hitting himself as much as hitting the Night Elf. Grunts dropping down like flies here. The Snakes are doing well though. And Shadow Hunter did reach level 3. He does have Snakes level 2. He's got mana for 1 and is going to drop it right there.
Alchemist
Alchemist takes a lot of damage. Alchemist level 3 with True Shot goes down.
That is 10% less damage on the entire Night Elf army, except, of course, the Treants here, who do not benefit from the ranged attack upgrade. But even with that crippling blow to HunteR, his Huntress's numbers are just too overwhelming, and the Orc player has to run back home, heal up his forces, which, admittedly, there aren't really that many left available for him. So the Huntresses, they reign supreme. They took a little bit of a beating, though, from all these Snake Wars, as you said, Grubby. So without healing from the Moonjuice, I think HunteR for now cannot really go for any further attacks. Buys the Alchemist back from the tavern as well, has a lot of resources to work with, of course, thanks to his expansion who's standing. And once again, there's this ticking time bomb now for Pride. He has to find a solution. He has to find a good fight to stop the never-ending income advantage for the Night Elf sooner or later.
Yeah, and I think that's why HunteR has gone for the Alchemist Tavern rebuy. This is, again, such a decisive choice here by HunteR, where he feels like even pushing into 53 food with an only just mining expansion, he needs that Alchemist right away. I was critical when I saw it a few seconds ago, but now with Pride attacking, I understand. He wants to have it ready. He doesn't want to have a fight where he doesn't have Alchemist available and he needs to wait another 25 seconds for it to come back. He wants to be ready right here. No risk to his expansion, making the big investments to get the big payoffs. And he's got Pride on the run once again. Great Hall just popped down, but if Pride keeps running, he's got no way to defend this expansion.
Yeah, the speed scroll unfortunately didn't last long enough to prevent that one shaman from dying. And as you said, how far can Pride take this, right? It's always good to distract your opponent, especially Night Elf players, when your own expansion is running. But you need to have a sizable force, a force that won't get overrun in a couple of seconds to be able to do so. Does he have that right now? I'm not so sure. Good for him, though, that HunteR prioritizes more items, more experience, and more gold from the creeps over more aggression. So I'm starting to look at the Night Elf main base, if there's a tech behind this, but no, he continues to go down the Huntress route, just wants to get a couple of item upgrades perhaps for his own heroes. What did he find here? Nothing really out of the ordinary. 2 heal scrolls, so look at the items, Grubby. 2 heal scrolls, scroll of protection. HunteR is gearing up for the big attack.
Healing potion on both heroes as well. No staff of preservation. I guess he considers heroes like glorified units. He will heal them with pots and heal scrolls, but if they die, whatever, rebuy them from the tavern. In this case, he's lacking a little bit. He's also been supply blocked for a while, and there's no Moonwell in production. So the 60 food that HunteR has now is pretty much what he's going to have to work with for the next 1 minute and 40 seconds. So you might as well attack now, right? If your army isn't growing.
Yeah. And here goes the preemptive scroll of protection. Armor is now increased, which is pretty good for the Huntresses who suffer greatly against the Snake Serpent wards. And here comes the Orc furiously trying to defend this expansion. The Night Elf player HunteR is splitting up his forces. Some attack the expansion, some deal with the army. Lightning Shield on the Blade Master hits a lot of units. Some Huntresses are falling, and all of a sudden I think the Grunts are actually looking pretty decent. Where is the focus fire from HunteR?
Yeah, there's no heal scroll for Pride here. He's really missing that. 3 grunts going down would have benefited greatly. The Headhunters and the Snakes are doing phenomenal. There's so many Huntresses going down. Look at those Snakes. They're just more and more of them. 4 of them gunning down that Huntress, biting into that unarmored armor and having that bonus damage. Shamans now, though, took an acid bomb to the face. Didn't get split, getting focus fired down, and Blade is low. There is no heal waves for this Blade Master to safely come out of hiding, and suddenly all the Orc units are dropping.
Yeah, that was so close there for a moment. The Shadowhunter actually reaching level 4 there as said. So many Snake wards. They dealt terrible, terrible damage onto these Huntresses, and even some Headhunters now joining the fray as well. Additional piercing damage against unarmored unit. Always welcome here. But in the end, the numbers, the bouncing glaives, it was just too much for the Orc to handle. Now, peons are there. Can they do some last-minute emergency repairing? It doesn't look like it. The expansion falls, Grubby. The Keeper doesn't have a TP. Neither does the Alchemist. If that Keeper falls, that is a critical blow to the Night Elf's army.
He gets another heal pod passed
Body
over,
block.
but that's still going to be a dead Keeper. There's no way out for him. And Tango is 1 mana away, and he goes down to a critical strike,
Wow.
162. But there's a Sentinel here. Is Pride fully cognizant of the fact that there's a Sentinel? That's a bounce!
Oh.
9, 2, heal wave, heal solve, 7.
Okay, the Blade Master goes back in with a critical
No
strike from
way.
the Wind Rush, and he tries to take down the Alki, but he plays a dangerous game. It's Russian roulette right now. Which hero is going to fall first? The Alchemist hiding behind the Goldmon to reduce the size, the space, the surface of attackers here. So many Huntresses left, and all of a sudden, this team fight that looked so good for HunteR turns more closely, actually, than he would have liked to.
Blade Master is like,
Oh, he
I've
blocks from the
got the beast.
Huntresses.
And no way! Oh, he has Invul. Alchemist, 8 life. Shadow
No
Hunter,
way, there goes.
I glaive.
Oh,
Shadow Hunter takes him down. There's so many Huntresses, but the Orc heroes are reigning supreme, slicing and dicing with the snakes, with the lightning shield on the Raider. But this is just too many Huntresses, no?
I mean, HunteR is playing StarCraft right now, only units, no more hero. You know, I mean, sometimes that can work. It's a little bit unthinkable that in Warcraft that can work, but slowly but surely, he's overwhelming the Orc. Red health bars all across the board. The bouncing glaives finding target after target. The Blade Master low. Shadow Hunter just returned. I actually thought he had bought some items there, perhaps, like a healing potion or a mana potion, but no, he didn't have the resources here. Pride, although he held and he's still standing in this game, he lost a lot of stuff. And look at the resources, the income. He cannot match the Night Elf's richness.
Yeah, exactly. The HunteR has infinite gold right now. The reason he couldn't rebuy the Keeper of the Grove until now, actually, had been his lumber. Retraining your hero from the altar costs 0 lumber. But as soon as you go to the tavern, it will cost you anywhere from 80 to 200 plus lumber to revive it. And he had like 130. So HunteR just maxed out on 60 food again. He's going to guzzle his Moonwells. Is that one out of range? Oh no, it's in range. Okay, going to guzzle the Moonwells. Get some of that mana back. Has dropped back to 255. Pride, going for the expansion. Will he go for the mine or for the Tree of Life?
For the gold mine.
Okay, he wants to reduce current income. It's easier to kill too.
The Wisps are repairing, but the Entangled Gold Mine falls. Some of the Huntresses are still dangerously low, and the wall of snakes here you should always respect when you are a Night Elf player and your only unit in your army composition is an unarmored one. So now, how far is Pride willing to go? How far is he against the ropes in his own opinion? Look at all these snakes. They're like mobile towers at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a prefab tower. It's immediately ready. Not too mobile, can't move them. But they provide an excellent fortified area to stage his attack from. There's 4 snakes. You can have a maximum of 6 for a short period of time. Now, running away. Speed scroll. And he will be leaving. I guess the damage is done, so he'll be leaving. Mine is coming back up. What Pride really needs though, Kendric, he needs to creep the orange camp to the left of his natural. Almost in the top left.
Right.
That camp, with shadow only, will give him level 5 and snakes level 3. If he can get that, he can win against enormously overwhelming numbers with even a small army, so long as you get those snakes.
The question is, though, Grubby, could he even... Like, would Pride even have enough time to go for that Merc camp? Or would the risk of getting creep-jacked or losing this expansion attempt be too severe?
He doesn't, because he keeps trying to expand. He reached super optimum cost efficiency a long time ago. He doesn't need the expansion anymore. He should be going for Shadow 5. Forget about the Expo. Acid Bomb on every shaman coming in. Boom. But I don't think he needs that Expo. Anyway, fight started. And snakes are coming in.
Indeed. The Kodo now with the Lightning Shield actually surviving a pretty long amount. Normally, Kodos are unit that the Night Elves players, they want to focus first because of the damage bonus it provides to the entire Orc army. And all of a sudden, the Blade Master's low again still has a potion of invulnerability, though. The Shaman's safe in the back. The Shadow Hunter gets level 5, and now do we see the level 3 snakes that Grubby talked about earlier? These powerful sentries there to protect the Orc. Potion has to get popped. The expansion is about to be finished. Is he going to cancel it right now to get at least some of the funds back, or is he confident in his defensive abilities?
He's gone for Heal Wave level 3. Blade Master nearly goes down, but he pops in with the Heal Wave level 3. Shadow Hunter getting focus fired, and Tango as well. That's the Shadow Hunter. going down. Nice.
Step down, son.
That eagle eye by HunteR, and he says, wait a minute, you're not minding the position on your shadow enough. And HunteR gets a very important kill. And now, if you think that this game is a win by HunteR by simply overwhelming with Huntresses, and that it was always going to go that way, you would be wrong. Yes, he made a lot of Huntresses, but there were so many micro moments where it could have gone better for either player. This game was so winnable for both that it was a true test of will and a execution and micromanagement that saw HunteR go through to the end here at this time. Because Pride, he could be splitting his shamans to stop Acid Bomb from hitting everything. He could have been popping down snakes earlier sometimes. Some of the decision making. If he buys a TP instead of that final expo attempt, you know what that gives him? Full mobility to go anywhere you want. He can creep the spider camp, the red camp, get level 5, good items, more gold. As much gold as an expansion could ever offer him. And he knows HunteR is constantly attacking with Huntresses with the same thing over and over. So he could have tried, but it's not easy. We see the whole map.
Yes.
He doesn't see the whole map. He knows this is what I practiced. I need the counter expansion. And just hat off to HunteR for canceling it over and over, Kendric.
Yeah, I mean, we can really say that from a bird's eye view, when you're an observer, when you're a viewer at home, this game looked very straightforward. And we could have known, for example, that Pride should have probably not gone for the expansion over and over again. But when you're in the heat of battle, when you're in the heat of the momentum, then you need to go for certain decisions and you need to go with it. And we can definitely say that this game was very equal, very balanced. It could have gone either way. Sometimes certain moments, if only that Alchemist earlier, for example, had died, the Blade Master that could have gotten more experience. The Orc heroes perhaps could have snowballed more. Maybe he could have actually taken down the Night Elves expansion with that momentum. But there were so many ifs, in that game that I think Pride doesn't have to feel bad about that loss. It could have gone either way, and he should definitely take that, that experience into the next game. That HunteR, our reigning champion of the Fight Night, looks beatable.
Yeah, exactly, and that's gonna be one of his hardest maps. I think it's loser's choice, is it? Or did they predetermine?
It is loser's choice. Yeah,
loser's choice. So that's the first map HunteR went to after losing the opening map, right? So at this time, we can say, okay, you lost your worst map, made it look that close, looks pretty good for Pride. But still, HunteR has shown an amazing resilience across 2 different games.
Yeah,
has gone for the mass hunts. He still has certain pocket strats, like he can still go for Dryads and Mountain Giants. He can still do that thing which was popular a while. Keeper, level 3, 6-7 archers, Acid Bomb, tier 2 push. And then just go for the level 2 Entangle push. There's still a lot of tricks he could go for. But for now, it's going to be Pride. Going with the Blade Master, probably. And seeing, okay, how do I stop the meta on this map? The meta on this map is 21 food expo by Night Elf. They'll pop it down near the marketplace or right near the goblin shop at the south side of the map. They put a Tree of Life there at around 22 food. And the Orc wants to be there to cancel it. By this time, Night Elf is level 2. They're going to try to entangle the Blade Master, stop his DPS and focus him down. So this is a very exciting map to watch the early game. And we can see which player will get the advantage early on.
Yeah, we've hinted towards some potential anomalies on this map in particular already, Grubby, on the Orc side and the Night Elf side. You said Farseer, if one wanted to go that route, Echo Isle would be a great map for it. And we've seen other pro Night Elf players, such as Moon, for example, experiment a little bit with the good old talent strategy. So on this very map. So let's see if there's a little bit of an element of surprise for us here. On the Orc side so far, not really. Trusty old blades never get dull. And the Blade Master is redeployed once again. Now, before we move on with the commentary here in this game, let us take a moment here to give a shout out to all the wonderful people that keep donating bits over for the bounty. It's getting closer to the 100% already, and that makes the players happy. That makes us happy, Grubby and myself, and the crew at HeroesHearth. So thank you very much, guys, for the overwhelming feedback and the positive responses.
Yeah, great support for these players. It's so cool these players haven't necessarily been given opportunities like this, with people being so generous towards them with the cheer bits, and also them having a chance to play in a format like this for in front of such a big crowd. So I think HunteR, with his first win, now 1-1, is feeling the nerves, is very excited about an opportunity like this. And Pride, as we heard from his interview, he's confident he can take this all the way. He said HunteR better bring his A game. He's feeling good. Pride has been practicing on the NetEase server, occasionally Battle.net, but mostly NetEase. This is where the best players in the world practice. The Chinese players, the Koreans. So he's matching up with them. Now, Keeper goes for the Treant Archer Harass while setting up a Hunter's Hall at home. He just cancelled a second Initiative War at home when he saw what he saw. And what did he see? One Burrow Tech. Nothing too special. I don't know why he cancelled it. But he goes in with the Force of Nature Harass. And so what Orcs try to do is actually using peons to reduce collision on the Burrow to prevent the double treants from attacking. Really cool. Orcs have been getting a lot better at this as they get used to the Keeper more. But still, that Burrow's going down. And that's a huge cancel. That costs money. That delays the second grunt, which delays the third, which delays the fourth. Because they all have...
sorry to interrupt you, but keep in mind that all the peons that are in the burrow trying to defend the base, they could have been lumbering. They could have been harvesting lumber. So lumber issues oftentimes for Orc at tier 2 after this harass is a big deal because they cannot build the production buildings so quickly or as quickly as they would have liked to.
Good point. Exactly. And what did they really do? They shot the Keeper with arrows a bunch of times. Keeper still has 300 life. He doesn't care. So essentially, the burrows and the peon, that's a loss. No lumber. He lost a peon to an entangle. A burrow got cancelled. And then he remade 2 burrows as well. Yeah. That's a good 200 lumber loss minimum, if not more. Probably 300. So suddenly you get to tier 2 with 200 lumber instead of 400 plus. You've lost a peon. You get 2 grunts by the time your Shadow Hunter is out instead of 3 to 4. So now your Shadow Hunter isn't creeping fast. And for all Pride knows, HunteR is expanding behind this right now. He doesn't know. He hasn't got a peon on the map. And for those that would suggest that he should have a peon on the map, go take a look at the lumber supply right now for Pride. He's got 200 lumber. Had he used the scout peon, he would be even in more dire straits. So he has to make the difficult decision to contribute his Blade Master to the scouting cause, going all the way bottom right. He will check a natural that's deserted. He now needs to decide, do I go left or right? There's 2 popular Tree of Life locations where Night Elves walk their tree from. He checks right, empty, question mark, shrug, scratches his head. Didn't check the left yet. Now he has to decide, do I also check the left? In the meantime, he's not doing anything for minutes. But then, what was that? Was that a shop?
That was a shop. That was a good find. I was actually clicking on the building just in time because it didn't survive long enough for HunteR to even cancel it. So thankfully, that was no Tree of Life. Otherwise, that would have been really expensive. So it was just an Ancient of Wonders. But still, no shop is a little bit annoying. No additional mana regen for the Keeper. No additional staff purchase available right now. Speaking of which, are we going to see HunteR march towards that tavern to get another alchemist soon? Or is he going to play the Keeper solo style, which some Night Elves also refer to?
Yeah, it could be either one, Kendric. I'm glad you bring it up because these are definitely big decisions. Both works. It's preferential. It has some different timings as well. So far, he's gone for the Keeper. The cool thing about being at tier 2 with a single hero is that all experience is multiplied by 1.15. So he's getting 15% more experience for being solo hero at tier 2. The moment he hires
something
Alchemist,
I recently learned, and during all my years following Warcraft 3, I've never even known about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not well explained. I mean, this is this isn't one of the tooltips that you get when you're loading a map, and it's like, by the way, did you know? It's just like there's such a wealth of information hidden, accumulated by players over the time. It's up to content creators to make guides about that or whatever. It's just one of those murky mechanics. Meantime, a solo alchemist Hunter's harass on 4 grunts and a shadow. And the orc runs because he knows Keeper's probably coming.
Yeah, I mean, Pride right now needs to be on the run already because reinforcement trickling in and good body block actually closing in the entire way all the way
Whoa!
to his orc main base, and now the Shadow Hunter is fully surrounded by grim-looking Night Elves trying to seek revenge for that first game. Blade Master goes through, comes in, swaps the Greater Healing, and that all of a sudden turned around sourly for the Night Elf.
Oh, so sick. Coming in with the Greater Heal. Didn't kill any units. Do we have treants? Yeah. Funny thing is,
Yeah.
Night Elves have been doing full wall-offs because they know they can always free themselves with Force of Nature. That's something that did not used to be a
So
thing
useful.
in history. He just freed himself from a full lock-in after the town portal with some treants. But that was sick. Shadowhunter looked like he was going to
really
die.
good.
Yeah, didn't die.
Yeah, the body blocking was so good. It is one thing to surround an enemy unit in a choke point, for example, or after that unit is slowed, stunned, whatever. But he basically used the relatively large hitbox of a Huntress and basically used all of his units to shut down an entire corridor. Really not easy to do that, but Hunter did it oh so well.
And fast.
And fast too, yeah. In a couple of seconds, he realized that there was a window, an opportunity to actually get that move done.
The cool thing is, Tree of Life was eventually built, but it was built post-clearing of the expo. And so he built it all the way at the south, and then walked it. The blade was near, was fully capable of cancelling it, but he did not know where it was. And I hope I was able to convey the urgent opportunity cost and time for the orc to try and find where is the tree. Like, you can't keep sending your blade in a triangle patrol of the Night Elf area of the map. So if you guess wrong, or if the Night Elf predicts right, they get that expo up. Other way, blade cancels it. So it's a really big result based on mind games from the players, I guess, from both sides.
And you know, we highlighted a lot of the forte and the efficiency of Hunter's play right now, but I also want to give a little bit of a shout out to Pride here, who's doing his best to basically use that Blade Master as a decoy to always keep the Night Elf army busy, because otherwise the Blade Master might actually be able to kill the Entangled Goldmine again, to go for a Wisp Hunt, to maybe steal an item with a Windwalk. And during all that time that the Blade Master as the decoy buys, the Shadowhunter was able to kill some of the Murlocs, some of the other creeps on the map, and he's now level 3, which is exactly where he wants to be. Level 2 snakes, if that's his preferred choice, could be very, very good against all these Huntresses that, once again, Hunter is relying on.
Yeah, this is one of the games where Hunter has the fewest archers so far. On Northern Isles, also lots of hunts, but it was a weird game a bit.
Yeah.
Now, very classic. We have snakes level 2, 3 set up already. And the cool thing is, Serpent Wards, magic immune. You can't acid bomb them, you can't entangle them. So you've got to use archers or huntresses to take them down, and there's 4 now. He's using a lot of grunts, again, 2 armor upgrades, to try and take down the mine. And there's good position for Pride here. He's got his shamans plenty far away from the gold mine. That means he's not detonatable. There's a shop coming up on the left.
Wonderful. That is a mobile station, a mobile hospital, if you will, for the orc player, where you can fall back to, buy some clarity potions, buy some healing salvos, and then basically heal some of the units, even the heroes, and then come back refreshed and rejuvenated. And so many of those snakes, the Great Wall of Snakes there, keeping those Huntresses at bay, dealing terrible, terrible damage onto them as well. Now, the Orc, Pride, cannot chase too far. Stay in the vicinity of your snakes, so you have that wonderful support on you. The Lightning Shield actually backfired a little bit. Retreats immediately.
Lightning scumbag, am I right? He's only hurting himself with this.
Yeah. All right.
He literally put it on the ground.
Sometimes that happens.
Yep,
but the orc is doing a good job, you know, keeps the Night Elf at bay, deals some damage onto the Entangled Goldmine, and basically this expansion is not really working out, is not really existent for Pride right now. It doesn't mine, it doesn't harvest, so it's a 1 base versus 1 base, and as you said, these grunts, man, they're so tanky. 5 armor already. That is something we've been seeing over and over again now. Orcs really trying to make their already beefy units even beefier.
Yep, exactly. And I was wondering, what's Pride still doing there, Kendrick? He already took down the mine. Lots of wisps were detonated.
Yes.
You're making your own expo. You're no longer losing money compared to your opponent because his expo isn't mining. Go back and heal. And he did so too slowly, but HunteR didn't punish him because he didn't have mana on his keeper. Now, Pride comes back in to defend his shop, which no longer exists. But he likes the position here. Goes for the keeper. He knows this will end in an invulnerability, but he's going to try and plug the gap. Does he? No, he fails! The Blade Master doesn't walk in quickly enough to close this around, and now suddenly, turnaround on the Blades with the Entangle, but the quick Purge frees him. Goes for the Keeper again. Purge, roots his movement. Crit, Entangle, dodge! He dodges the Entangle with the Windwalk, so there's not even a second of DPS lost. Great job by Pride.
Amazing, and more units, thanks to the rally point, they trickle in. This completely in the wrong spot, gets greeted by axes and blades and goes down. The Blade Master's not done just yet, finds another Huntress as well. The Night Elven units, they're falling one after the other. Lightning Shield runs for the rescue, comes in with a speed scroll, and they're trying to now salvage and demolish the remainders of that Night Elf army, Grubby. The Shaman's all untouched. This is looking mighty good.
Blade Master has no mana for Windwalk. The Mud Golem, though, is down. There's no more slow. Purge on the Alchemist. Second Purge.
Wow!
And it takes him down. GG, well played. Pride takes the lead once again with a 2-1 in this best of 5. Great play.
Absolutely amazing. For the second time, the Orc reigns supreme today, and the champion now is with his back, with his body in the ropes. If he loses one more game, HunteR, that is, our Night Elf player, he is dethroned. And we have a relatively young history here, of course, with our Warcraft 3 fight night, as it is the second round, the second episode that we're ever having. But already this could be such a spicy format, Grubby, where HunteR, who looked so dominant 14 days ago against the Super Bowl, not dropping a single map, all of a sudden, against the new challenger Pride with the new race coming in, the Orcs, that is, could already fall.
Yeah, it would be quite something for our first Fight Night champion to be dethroned so soon after, just a fortnight later. Fight isn't done yet, though. That was the first map pick by Pride, which would make that potentially his best map, maybe HunteR's worst, after vetoes are said and done, of course. So if anything, the next map should be more favorable for HunteR again, more preferable. That could be a 2-2, and suddenly you're down to the neutral one. So as long as they just keep trading maps, the most neutral one at the end can decide it all. That's how you tell yourself, I'm not down 2-1 and I'm on one more map loss and I'm out. You just tell yourself, well, there's plenty of reason it could go like this.
Absolutely great performance here by both players, honestly, especially Pride, who I wasn't really sure if his confidence that he expressed in the pre-interview section, that if it was justified or not, because HunteR is still HunteR, is still a world-class Night Elf, and Night Elves traditionally have been doing very well against Orcs lately. So I wasn't really sure if it's just talks, doesn't really have the material to back it up, but hey, I was proven wrong. Looks like the self-confidence of Pride was well justified. So that is amazing. You know what else is amazing, Grubby? The fact that our lovely community, our supportive community, has now officially helped us to clear the first bounty goal ever. That is amazing.
Ah, nice. Good job, everyone. Applause for yourself. Very nice. And the players will be thanking you as well, HunteR and Pride. Pride, I heard in the interview with you that he spends a lot of time practicing Warcraft 3 anytime he's not busy with work. So that old passion reignited. Pride is a player that was known back in the day, in the first decade after the new millennium started. So this is a comeback for him as well. And he is playing well. One map away from taking the current bounty for himself and getting another challenger next week as well.
That is the cool thing. Every 2 weeks, of course, people have the chance to re-enter the ring, but at any given moment, as Grubby said, the winner, the champion, also has the chance to say, nope, I'm done. I'm going to get that pizza money. I'm going to enjoy some sweet, sweet round plates of goodness. And, that's fair and share. If you want to expose yourself to the public like a chicken, though, that's a different story.
Hey, pizza, you can't always wait with pizza, Kendric. I have to take exception to what you said there. If you need pizza, sometimes you just need it now.
That's
But,
true. What is your favorite pizza, Grubby?
Hawaii.
Oh no, we don't want to have that discussion now. Chat is already probably
Supreme. Some ham, some salami, some pepperoni,
right.
Stuff like that. Cheese can't be missing.
I think I heard a rumor, or I'm not sure who told me about this, Grubby, but didn't you have a fable for banana on the pizza as well?
Not just banana, Kendric. Are you seated?
Oh, okay.
You better sit down for this one. Okay.
Grab my chair. Hold me, chat. Hold me, chat.
Banana garlic. Try it before you knock it.
I wouldn't even know where to order an abomination like that.
I didn't know either, but guess what? I go to vacation island, Gran Canaria. It belongs to Spain, but it's an island. I've never been there before. We went on a family trip. We go to a restaurant. I thought I knew the world, but I was naive, Kendric. I knew nothing. I opened the menu and it says banana garlic. Who am I to turn such a monstrous creation down? I'm all one for new experiences. And guess what? I ate a banana garlic pizza and I liked it. I'm not ashamed.
Was it actually named banana garlic, or did it have like a funky name, like
the name was
literally
Don't Try
pizza
This.
abomination or something?
The name of the pizza was Don't Try This in Spanish. Our cook hates us. Our chef is fired. He'll be gone in a week. He's just finishing contract. Do not eat this abomination. That was the full name. But the ingredients told a different story. One of succulence and delectability, Kendrick. You know what? If you ever visit the Netherlands, I invite you and I'll cook it for you.
I will gladly do that. You know what? We will have to get something like that going. Let's say our 50th episode of Fight Night.
Let's do it.
You heard it here, guys. You were witnesses of this historical moment.
Okay.
50 weeks.
All right. Oh, we have a picture of it. Okay, cool.
Oh, really? Of a banana garlic pizza? Okay. All right. I think production is going to show you a picture that Grubby did indeed not make this up.
All right, we'll show that in a bit. But for now, something far more interesting. I know, difficult to imagine. More interesting than banana. There we go!
Oh my god!
Beautiful!
I cannot work like this.
It looks so good. I'm so hungry right
now. Full banana. I thought it was banana slices. It's a full banana on it.
I mean, I just went full bananas on this. It's not even circular slices. It's just monstrously cut in half and laid out like innards on the pizza.
Oh my god. To make it even more fearsome and intimidating.
And all the kids that are watching and who promised their parents Warcraft 3 is not a graphical game, they're in trouble now because we just showed the banana garlic pizza. But anyway, game is underway again. Everything is fairly standard at the moment. Blademaster did net himself a very nice archer kill.
Yeah.
Because that's the only archer we'll ever see. Because HunteR's production is in full swing. HunteR right now, solo keeper on the map, doing a little bit of creeping on the ogre mage. Looks slightly ambitious. He's going to take at least 200 points of damage there, I guess, in order to creep this ogre.
Yeah, and you know, with all the pizza goodness distracting us there a little bit, but let's not forget that HunteR is currently playing for his tournament life right now. To defend his champion status in the Warcraft 3 Fight Night, he needs to hold this game. So every unit he loses, every building he doesn't complete is probably going to cause more sweat drops to build on his forehead. So now we really need to watch Pride as well, who finds a claw of attack 6. Very, very gladly will accept that gift from the RNGs.
I'm just happy that HunteR doesn't know, or he'd be swimming in sweat right now if he knew about that clause. So this is better not to know for a while.
That is true. Sometimes you don't want to know. To stay in the matrix. Wisp detonates in time this time. Does not give experience over. The Huntress finds the Blade Master. Does not spot him though. Probably HunteR was looking at somewhere else in the map. So far, he's tier 2 almost completed. So the Alchemist will probably join his forces very shortly.
And the Keeper of the Grove has gone for Treants, Force of Nature. Didn't go for the Entangled. So definitely playing it from a macro perspective. Treants are better at creeping, at defending all-ins, and doing all-ins. And Tango is better at skirmishes and hero focusing. So
Right.
he's showing that he's once again having the long vision. HunteR overall, though, is showing his style repeatedly now. So this is definitely his style that I haven't really seen as much. He hasn't gone for those early expansions. Possibly he feels Blade Master control has gotten too good. He prefers to first mount a serious threat, going with at least 4 Hunters, double hero, level 3, and then, boom, sneaking in a Tree of Life. And that's exactly what he is going to be doing now. The gold mine is supplied with a young sapling of a Tree of Life, and it will be growing under the thick of night. Now,
Whoa,
Tango comes in on
Hunter.
the shadow. He gets the surround.
Next to the shop, though, that means he could buy healing potions if he so desires. A TP should also... No TP actually yet. He could buy one, of course. Fails to do so. The Shadowhunter goes down, but so does the Alchemist. Joins his hero brother in the afterlife for now. Let's see the treants, though. So many trees in the base. Trying to go for the altar, actually, to prevent the revival.
Yep. Wow.
Not the worst choice here, actually, in this spontaneous decision that just presented to HunteR.
Yeah, with 2 peons repairing, but they're taking glaive bounces. He can just right-click it, just move his keeper away. No, just keep focusing it. There's no need to turn around, my dear.
Yes.
He's going to let the shadow come back. Okay. A lot of peons repairing as well.
Tries to go for the blade now, who's out of mana. He actually gets the kill and coolly and calmly teleports out. Cool guys don't look at kills, my dudes. So yeah, there we go. That is another kill for the Night Elf, and all that, Grubby, all that happened while the expansion is building up in the bottom.
That was razor thin smiley face because he's happy. Happy like a farmer with a molar ache. Smiling like one. That's a Dutch proverb. Doesn't really seem to make much sense once I say it in English. Anyway, that Blade Master actually received the animation of a heal wave, but there is a short, I don't know, is it half-second delay for the animation and the mana cost to go down, but then for the heal to proc. And in that exact period, Blade Master went down. I think it's less than half a second. So he spent the mana, but the heal didn't get received, so the Blade Master went down. Unlucky for Pride. Good job by HunteR. He's in a great position now. Tree of Life is finished.
I think the stars, perhaps they align to give us that game number 5 with these split second frames of invulnerability or healing, not really reaching the Orc Blade Master in time there. But all is not lost for Pride just yet. The expansion only now entangling the gold mine. The experience on his Shadowhunter pretty okay given the rough start, and
that's
that
one of the best. That's one
Sorry?
of the best things of losing your Blade Master.
That is true. Yes,
you can't be tempted to share experience as he is doing now. I wish the Blade was dead for a while more. You need Shadow 3 more than Blade level 3.
Yep. Finds a little bit of extra armor here from the Lion Horn of. That like all these aura items, by the way, Grubby. In the most recent PTR patch, are going to be buffed quite significantly, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. You're well-informed. Devotion Aura at the moment gives 1 armor to everything. In the new patch, it'll be 2 to reflect the Paladin's buffed Devotion Aura state. It will be equal to the Paladin level 1. Same with Scourge Bone Chimes, goes up 5% as well to reflect the recent Dreadlord buff.
Beautiful. Happy little gift there for Pride's Blade Master. Finds a Tomb of Agility. Definitely won't say no to that.
So
always
something
something.
+2.
I'm not sure. Yeah. But yeah, always a thing that gets chat very agitated and very excited when players forget to pick up tombs, especially experienced ones.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's players out there, I think, that never forget a tome.
Yeah.
But they might be a little slow at moving around the map just because that's what they look out for. Now, I'm not saying you should forget tomes to favor macro, but it's generally the reason why even pro players will always forget tomes sometimes. Because they're like minding their macro and they're doing a lot of things at the same time.
Okay, so let's check out what HunteR is up to. I think HunteR in this series so far has not built a single tier U unit, actually. Sticks to the tier 1 mass production.
I think that's Nature's Blessing coming out maybe on the tree. Moves in with the Huntresses. We got a lot of Huntresses coming in here. He's got 50 food against 50 from Orc. I think this is actually a bad decision. 2 versus 1 base. He does have Scroll of the Beast and Protection. And he uses both. That's a lot of value. But I really wonder, why push in with 50-50 when you have a base extra?
That is actually a very good question, but also we have to commend Pride actually for defending that so well. I mean, that Lightning Shield Grunt dealt so much damage. We did see a Mirror Image come through already as well in the Blade Master, didn't we? So this can be used to break free from an Entangle. Very good defensive mechanic that a Blade Master can fall back on. It can also be used for scouting, obviously. Sometimes these Mirror Images can also soak up damage, because if you just A-move, of course, units will attack the nearest by target, and they don't really distinguish between, an illusion or the real deal.
Yeah, only creeps can see through the Matrix. If a creep will boulder a Blade Master 100% of the time, a Rock Golem, but it will never boulder an image, even if it behaves the same. So creeps are actually cheaters. They know what's real and not. They see the world as it really is. I've reported them many times, but they always seem to come back.
All right, so let's see what Pride can do with this pretty stable defense there. The purges are so good as well. If there's one thing that I think we've seen Pride do very well consecutively now in several games in this series, is he takes good care of his shamans. Very rarely does he expose them. Very rarely does he miss a purge. His shaman control is just top-notch right there, and has actually saved him many, many times.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of hero focusing, and one thing we see HunteR keep doing is never ever get Staff of Preservation. That really surprises me.
Yeah.
It should be said that the initial Purge or an Ensnare or a Lightning Orb can sometimes prevent Staff from being used. But there's still plenty of opportunity to save some of the heroes that he's been having. Now, Pride didn't go over 50 food. He goes here, he's banking, he's expanding, he's going to tower. And he goes for the gold mine, and he's getting detonated upon. But anytime you commit with such a big investment in the future, like banking up, you want to have 1 speed scroll to run away. He just used his only speed scroll to reposition, and is thinking of moving back in. I say that's risky, but it's also daring. He shows good control of the fighting space. He keeps pulling back so he doesn't overcommit into mass Huntresses.
Right now, Grubby, the Orc army is being reinforced by some Headhunters, additional piercing damage against that mass Huntress front line that HunteR is rocking. These grunts, by the way, once again, +2 armor, reinforced by the Lionhorn of Stormwind, so they have 6 armor in total now. They are a beefy front line for those Headhunters to deal the damage from.
HunteR has a lot of heal scrolls. He used 1, he still has 2. Pride also has 1, and that's looking really good on this Shaman Headhunter Grunt army. Acid Bomb hitting 7 units or so. Lots of detonates. But guess what? HunteR used his Goldmine Wisps. He doesn't really have a lot of Lumber Wisps at his expansion, but he's got 7 Wisps in his main base.
Yeah.
So at the moment, HunteR is suffering from bad macro. He's 67 food, but in order to fully mine again, he's remaking Wisps at his expo. Already 400 lumber and mining with far more Wisp than he will ever need. That does mean that in the future, HunteR could use up to 8 Wisps in the fight, which would be amazing. But he has to first become aware of the fact that he has so many Wisps in his main, and I'm not sure he is aware of it yet, that he's going to use them. Even now, his expo is still only mining with 4 Wisps.
Yeah.
So he's mining with 9.
Notice the same thing, Grubby. Only 4 Wisps in the Night Elves expansion, not fully efficiently mining here. And what is also worth mentioning, of course, is the counterpart expansion of Pride in the top left. So no longer is HunteR, the Night Elf player, in a situation where he can just throw wave after wave at the Orc space, hoping to overwhelm him because of better economical income. But this is now an even game, and the higher quality army is definitely on the Orc side. There's a Kodo, there's some Headhunters, the Shamans are still going strong as well. If HunteR doesn't really get a good fight very soon, the tides might actually turn, won't they?
Yeah, exactly. Well put. Indeed, the higher quality army and the better upgrades right now are on the side of Pride.
The creep check.
However, we do have 2 attack upgrades coming in for Elf. Then there will be more there. We also suffered a huge shockwave. Like, Pride is not starting this fight with very healthy units. This is a bad place to start from. He's going to focus the Alchemist, but it has Invul, and he's now horribly overextended, with Grunts taking maximum damage from huge amounts of archers. Pride needs to get out of here. He has Speed Scroll.
Yeah, look at the beautiful concave that HunteR basically created himself by deforestation here. He used the forest on the left-hand side to create those treants, and that gave more space to the archers in the backline to fire on those grunts. And as you pointed out, Grubby, very well, the position there couldn't have been any worse for the Orc player. It was such a small choke point. There was no room to maneuver, and you want to fight in an open space if possible. So your Blade Master, your grunts, so you can actually ram them right into the backline of the Night Elf player.
Exactly. This is a little better. Wisps slightly exposed, low Huntresses exposed, but Pride doesn't take the bait immediately. Needs a few seconds to collect himself. HunteR didn't correct his positioning though, so one Huntress goes down. Pride falls back. He's not looking at a very healthy mana pool on the Shadow though. He's got a Clarity working, but no mana pot. And he's now, once again, going into a concave. There's those 8 Wisps we were talking about. It's 7 actually. He needs to dodge them if you want to make use of his mana.
If you can kill the shamans, make them dry. Get all mana gone here with those wisps, as you said. And Pride versus HunteR. This could be the game, the serious deciding team fight even. If the Orc wins one more game, ladies and gentlemen, the series is his. If HunteR wants to stabilize and stay in this game to defend his title as the reigning Fight Night champion, he needs to basically win this game there as well. And looks like the sheer mass of Huntresses and the archers in the backline with those wisps as well was enough to scare away the Orc for now. Goes for the attack on the expansion right now. There's one tower already pretty badly hurt and damaged, so I don't think there's anything Pride can do to defend this unless he teleports with a Scroll of Teleportation right here, right now. I don't think he's going to be there in time though.
No, exactly. He took too long to recollect himself, and I don't really see a justification for it. He was in pretty good fighting shape. I saw the Speed Scroll as a tactical reposition, and he comes in, surprisingly saves it, actually. HunteR also has a massive overbank at the moment, 1,300 gold. He could have TP'd out, tried to kill the tree, tried to kill the Great Hall, chose not to. Now has a greatly diminished army. Goes for the Kodo Beast, Tangle, but the Purge comes in, Acid Bomb, Focus Fire, Kodo down. That's good, Keeper level 5. Pretty good fight, Blade Master is distracted, but now HunteR has to get out. He's done his damage, but it won't get any better for him. I don't know why he's staying. Looking for a better position, maybe.
He could use...
He has staff.
Yeah, he does have a staff on the Keeper. Use it right now for the first time. Very well done. But there are some Raiders slowly but surely getting in the mix. The Raider Pride had, of course, fell, unfortunately, so no more ensnare on those retreating units. But no TP available, no emergency safety ticket for these Night Elven units. And there are quite some damaged ones here. One Huntress going down, one Archer, second Huntress potentially falling there as well. Blade Master gets a little bit ahead of himself, though. The Poison and the Entangle dealing terrible damage on Tim. Might be forced to use a heal scroll here.
There's no second Entangle available, but Acid Bomb is still under effect. Goes for it. Blade actually baited with his position. Very smart. Coming forward, pulling the archers out of position a bit. Now it's Grunt Focus Fire. Huntresses doing a great job tanking. And he takes down the Grunts. This is very back and forth, Kendric.
It's basically like both players knowing how much there is on the line. So the nerves are coming into play, right? It's a constant back and forth. Both players are not really keen to go for the all-deciding team fight. Scroll of Healing being used to focus that Alchemist down. Uses Healing Spray. Buys a little bit more time. Staff of Preservation once again used. Huntresses are falling and falling though. Once again, the Blade Master gets level 5 and gets to safety as well. Not really a whole lot of Snake Wars left there for the Orc either, because mana seems to be the most crippling aspect of this army right now. Pride retreats, but not without dealing some heavy damage in return. And you can really see, Grubby, how this Night Elf army composition is shifting away from Huntresses, more into archers that deal terrible damage from the backline without being vulnerable to those snakes and the headhunters.
Exactly. No reptile phobia by the archers. Those serpent wards. Do not fear them. They outrange them, in fact. And Keeper is so close to level up. He has just purchased a top portal, so he can fully commit on right-clicking the Great Hall, using the Treants, the Acid Bomb, and the Huntress Bounce to kill the peons. That's a dead base, you TP out. You do not take the fight here. You could though, but you don't have to. You could just gun down the Great Hall, and he's getting a great position. I don't know though. Great Hall has a little bit too much life. I think he has to fight.
Yeah. The Blade Master with Lightning Shield already in the squishy backline. Gets entangled, uses Mirror Image immediately. The thing's huge. The Night Elven army completely protected there. These archers cannot be reached, it seems. The Great Hall there still holding strong. The peons repairing like crazy. But man, this concave is just too much. The 2/2 archers raining down some hailfire actually onto the Orc army. And I think this expansion, Grubby, is eventually going to fall.
This is an expansion.
I love it.
I love that you couldn't even do a courtesy law. That's how bad it was. And I deserve no more, Kendric. That expansion is down. The Keeper is 1 peon away from level 6. If he doesn't share the experience with the Alchemist. He just needs to kill 1 more peon, and then he is going to get Tranquility accessible. In the meantime, Shadow, crucially, not level 5.
Yeah. And this could very well be the stabilizing point for HunteR. The 2-2 in this best of 5 is so close for him. What can Pride do? He's been holding on so well the entire series, even won game 1 and game 3 with that great micro that he showed us earlier. But here comes the level 6 uninterruptible now. Uses the Invul Potion first, and then everything will get healed around him. And now, let's say, even if he gets focused down, though, the TP is there. HunteR is so far in the lead, doesn't even seems to pay attention, and just pieces out here and leaves the Orc to lick his wounds.
And some wounds do not heal with time. For example, this gold mine is gone for Pride, and it will never come back, no matter how much he stares at the void where it once was. He's at 60 gold, 39 food. It is true 39 food, because all the peons died, so I guess it's more than what it looks like. But he's facing 66 food of HunteR with an active running base for another 4 minutes. This base will give gold, and Pride goes for the Jugular right away.
Yeah, this is the last ticket to potential match winning point here. The Orc realizes he's out of options, he's out of time, and the only way for him to do something to perhaps even the score a little bit more is to finally take down that Forsaken Night Elf expansion. But here come the reinforcements. An armada of furious wisps actually diving into the backline of the Orc, sucking the Blade Master here and getting a lot of mana down the drain. But is it going to be enough here? Can the level 5 Shadowhunter now keep the Orc player in the game? That is the question. So many Huntresses, so many Archers, Grubby. This is probably just a question of time. And now HunteR's just styling it off with that level 6 Tranquility.
Yeah, exactly, Kendric. It looks like the beginning of the end here, as level 3 snakes, they can take down the Huntresses, but the Archers will stand indomitable, standing sentinel here as the Orc forces get routed.
Wow.
Dwindling in numbers. 7 units left, 7 warriors against an armada of Night Elf forces. Shaman gets focused down. There's 6 left. Grunt, Headhunters taking damage from Acid Bomb. Blade goes down. And that's gonna be it. GG, we've got a 2-2. We're going the distance, Kendric.
That is amazing. For the first time, we're going all the way into game number 5. Ladies and gentlemen, last week, or last time I should say, 14 days ago, 2 weeks ago, it was a fairly one-sided matter, and Super Bowl fought hard, but the Undead Scourge was driven out of the series relatively quickly. But the Orcs, they're holding strong. This is an epic battle, couldn't be any closer. And now I ask you, viewers in the chat, who do you think is going to win it? Once again, you've been very active today already. You get a double thumbs up from me here for your participation and support. The cheer goal, for example, the bounty, fully occupied. The players are going to be very happy, and so are we. But is HunteR going to take it now? Does he have momentum on his side? Or can Pride do the unthinkable and actually dethrone the champion?
It's
find out in a bit in the final map.
It's all HunteR needed to do. Just win your map pick, and then you play on the final and neutral map. Right? Yeah. And the final map is going to be Concealed Hill. So because Amazonia was removed, Terranistan was removed, so the final map will be Concealed Hill. It actually has advantageous properties for both races, ergo the neutrality.
Yeah, Concealed Hill, of course, a very unique map as it has the healing wells on the left-hand and the right-hand side, which a lot of people actually say favors orcs sometimes because their beefy units will usually.
But Huntresses do pretty well with it too, and they can hide,
That's true.
so they can control the uncrept fountain at night, and then it's kind of a long distance map, so Elf can expand and kind of keep it. It's very tactical. The middle is a huge point of contention as well. The players will play the game. We'll just tell the story. We'll take you into Concealed Hill. But first, we're going to take a tiny break, and then we'll come with the tiebreaker map. Game number 5 between HunteR and Pride.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, an epic series is now going to come to an end. One way or the other, Game 5 in a best of 5. We're going full distance. The final map here in this epic match between Pride and HunteR is going to be Concealed Hill. Once again, the Night Elf forces and the Orc army are getting ready. And the winner walks home with $200. The loser goes home with a solid $100. But also, the winner either becomes or remains champion because it is HunteR's turn to defend his title. And not only that, but also they will, of course, get a lion's share, a little bit of a portion from the bounty that you guys were so actively working on to completion. So that is amazing. You guys have been an amazing audience so far. And I think I speak for Grubby and myself if I say that this has been an absolute blast to cast right now.
Yes, it has. And we're getting treated to an absolute knuckle duster of a series. Lucky to go all the way here and see such a close contest. I thank the players prematurely for a great series, but we have another map left. Pride is ready, just waiting for HunteR here.
Yep.
As we're about to start the final match. Concealed Hill, it has 3 really interesting creep camps. The middle of the map, there's an Ogre that guards a neutral base, an uneven expansion base, because normally 2 bases at the top, 2 at the bottom, but the 5th gold mine on the map is contested and is guarded by an Ogre and his posse of creep hoodlums. This Ogre drops the highest level item on the map. For example, Aura of Endurance, Aura of Brilliance, Aura of Death Knight Aura, the Unholy, the movement speed, the regen. It's so good if you can get it and they do not. Alternatively, there's 2 other camps as well. The 2 healing fountains are guarded by red drakes level 6 and a lot of units on the ground. And they also drop aura items or other greatly advantageous items. Having a game plan that is structured around getting at least 2 out of the 3 can be greatly beneficial, though not necessarily decisive, can be greatly beneficial to being ahead in the longer game. And the Ogre has been crept more cheekily, more early than at any time in this map's history these days. So don't be surprised if they go for the hardest camp on the map as their 4th camp, like once their 2nd hero is out.
And speaking of that Ogre Lord in the middle of the map, Grubby, I've seen some, especially orcs, in fact, I've seen do some crazy things to that Ogre Lord because the AI of those creeps can sometimes be twisted and manipulated. And I've seen Shadow Hunters with Hex actually baiting that Ogre Lord out of its camp or to surround it and kill it in a safe spot.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so much further from the opponent. By the time they check the expansion, they're like, hey, Ogre Lord's missing. They see something is happening because the creatures are casting spells, but it's so far to then still walk all the way to the tavern to stop that creep camp. So, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You're well informed, Kendric, on the meta.
Well, you know, Grubby, when casting next to a legend such as man. So it don't get overshadowed by that gigantic banana garlic pizza.
I was just Googling some pictures. I made good use of the break. It fills my heart with joy to know that such creations are among us. Now, I don't see a second Moonwell, but the lumber is there. This means that Night Elf is going for a Hunter's Hall after first Moonwell. That means, once again, 1 archer into Huntresses. No change from a working formula, let's say. Technically, HunteR's 2-1 in games where he didn't lose his Ancient of War instantly due to the map being unique.
The keeper's blocked in? Oh, saved. Okay.
Just kidding, lol.
Good thing it didn't go entangle first.
Or thorns. Yeah, that's such a panic moment for people. It doesn't matter at all.
Wow.
Maybe he did it just to watch the VOD later, and he's like, Cabron, it's no problem. I just go through the trees.
I got these silly Europeans. I fooled them all. All right, that was a little bit of a wow moment here, but HunteR, of course, has the situation under control. Now Pride spots the Keeper for the first time, tries to go for a creep steal here, actually gets the Tomb of Experience at level 2, is now in the hands of the Blade Master. A huge win in such a deciding and important game.
Wound, Salt and Wound, took the creep, and it was XP Tome, and he got it. Wound has been salted. Thank you.
Players' forces are under attack.
Incredible, and it looks like HunteR is deeply infuriated by that outrageous steal from the Blade Master that he tries to go for that harass against the Bros. And look at Pride's expertise here, actually. Once again, using the peons to reduce the surface for these treants to attack, and they were denied, shut down, and driven out of the orc base. Wonderful display. Pride is actually playing his prime right now.
Yeah, this is the second best start he's had so far, believe it or not. Twisted Meadows being his best. But Twisted was a little bit, the way that HunteR crept left him open. This is a very classical play, unlike Twisted. He's in the right place at the right time. Good creep route. Takes only the Ogre Warrior, picks up the item, and then rushes onto the map. Had he not played it like that, he wouldn't have been there in time to cancel and steal the Spider Crab Limb Ripper. He goes for the second now. What does he get?
There's no...
No.
I was going to say there's no way he gets an...
I heard you say it.
Oh,
I knew what you're going to say.
The
There's
gods
no
are
way-
with Pride.
There's no way he grabs the 5% chance to get double XP tome from the double Murloc camp, but he does.
Absolutely incredible. That could be a sign the stars aligned, but HunteR at least doesn't know about that one. If he had witnessed that a second time, perhaps he would have pulled off the immediate GG, but not like this.
Now, to be fair, the game is actually really fair. 1 XP tome for you, 1 for me. We can't help it that Pride is stealing the opponent's item due to gross negligence of the keeper.
I think we should actually talk to Blizzard about this and immediately the PTR change that removes these cute little orange tombs, because it's fair, as you said, Grubby.
You always get the result that you get.
That was
There
deep.
you go. Thanks. Both heroes are level 3, so really, Orc needs it, you see. Keeper's still level 3. Of course, he did use 4 units, and Orc just kept his grunts at home. But that's the sad state of the game. The Orc has to keep his grunts at home, doesn't want to get them entangled, needs XP tome to stay on par with the Elf.
And I wonder, Grubby, if Pride shows his Blade Master to HunteR right now, and
Players' forces are under
the
attack.
number 3 on the level, if he actually draws the conclusion, he
did
really
that.
did find another one, didn't he?
He just did. It was off screen, but he just walked past the keeper in 4 seconds, and his Blade Master seemed to say, "Do you see that? Do you see this level 3? Just a taunt." And only then did he windwalk again, almost like he was reading your mind, Kendric.
Yeah. There we go, and looks like HunteR is trying to use his Alchemist and his Huntresses to apply a little bit of soft pressure once again onto the base of Pride. Doesn't really get much done here, the shop of course being the most vulnerable of the buildings in the Orc base. Has to take it down. So much damage already on the level 1 Alchemist, that puny little goblin-driven ogre. But yeah, nothing really accomplished, and well, the expansion is building up, so it might have been a distraction maneuver, Grubby, but this looked a little bit lost almost on the side of HunteR.
Yeah, a little lackluster. I mean, that's what happens when you start mass hunts after one archer. You can skirmish decently, but you can't push into burrows and serpent voids, as well as archers might. The superior range and range DPS that archers offer allow you to entangle and focus fire and kill things. You would combine it with entangle level 2. Reason he doesn't do it is because he figures entangle level 2 is only as good as until the first shaman with perch is out, and then it might as well be level 1. So I totally get him going for the Huntresses to be able to resist. Now,
the surround.
There's no hex, so HunteR can time this perfectly. The surround didn't get closed. Pride looking a little desperate here. There are no perch left.
True.
He has no TP. This is risky.
It is. The Huntresses are still in full pursuit, and twice did his surround maneuvers now fail, and that basically leaves the shamans in the backline exposed. Now, of course, mind you, both heroes in that attempt were weakened quite a bit for HunteR, and there's no more healing available, only a teleportation scroll on the main hero. So, he does have to retreat eventually, goes for the shop because that is the place where he could buy an invulnerability potion, for example, but realizes that if he were to get creepjacked here, the game might very well be over.
Yeah, both players took a lot of damage in that. Also in terms of macro, not just actual damage. Shadow is level 1 flat, 0 experience to Shakti Lar's name. And the Tree of Life, despite being available now, has not had its expansion cleared yet. This delay was caused due to the Pride chasing HunteR as well. So it did delay the Night Elf expansion a little bit as well. The exact opposite of how an orc feels if the tree was already rooted and mining. Then you don't want time waste like that. But now it's kind of okay. And he's waking up the creeps, pulling them to the tree. Oh,
Look at the bottom,
TP!
actually.
The short
So well
distance
done
TP.
here. The TP goes in, doesn't want to lose the tree. The creeps actually dealt terrible damage onto that walking Tree of Life with heavy armor instead of building armor. So, yeah, I think this was a cute little maneuver. Forced out 350 gold from HunteR, and also takes him to a part of the map where he perhaps wouldn't even want to be at this moment. And during all of this, the Orc expansion goes down. So Pride with a tactical maneuver, a surgical tactical strike, potentially buying enough time to get an expansion of himself.
Yeah, well said, Kendric. It's exactly so. And, you know, the gold mine, it will be entangling for 40 seconds. Great haul, takes about 2.5 minutes. So there is 2 minutes earlier mining for the elf. This can be delayed if the blade ever kills the entangled gold mine. It can be delayed if Night Elf is slow to fill up the base. Meantime, Pride with the most important creep camp of his series. Shadow, Shamans, Grunts. They're all very hurt. But if he gets this camp, he gets access to the healing fountain, where he can heal for free. He gets a great item. It's going to be Lionhorn of Stormwind, 1 armor.
Again.
Not too shabby, actually, because all of his grunts already have 2 armor upgrades. They're going to be very tanky.
They're going to be very tanky indeed, and this was one of those nail-biter moments, Pride, because as you said, Grubby, this camp is so important. It gives you access to that healing fountain, which is going to bring back your high HP units into good shape so quickly. Now, there were a couple of moments perhaps where HunteR could have anticipated a route like that, and the creep check there would have been devastating, but he instead focuses on his own creeping, tries to beef and level up his own heroes a little bit more. The Alchemist now at level 3 with a crystal ball, not the best item ever, gives him a little bit of extra scouting. Even against the Blade Master, where you could argue maybe it's a little bit of vision, but yeah, you don't really want that.
Yeah, crystal ball of 50 gold every, I don't know how many minutes. Because you can reveal for 50 gold at the Labo. Orb does it for free on a large cooldown. So you can either sell it for 400 now. I think it's 400? 400. Maybe it's not 400. Maybe it's 250 or 300. Anyway, you can sell it now and get a lump sum. Or you can peter out 50 gold gains over the period of the game. Gold now is almost always better than 50 gold, 50 gold, 50 gold. Plus, you're going to use reveals when you may not even need them. Whereas if you use Laboratory, all your reveals are judiciously used when you need them. Crystal Orb is just oh, it's available, let's use it. So definitely not worth its cost. He would have loved to get something like Unholy Aura. That would have been amazing. But the Orb, bad luck.
At least he had the decency to use it before he sold it. So he got one area of scouting. And I'm not sure where he used it. He probably used it on the expansion. So if HunteR had a little bit of map awareness there, which I undoubtedly think he has, then he now knows that the org is on even basis.
Blade Master, Acid Bomb, and Tangles. Whoa! Uses Roar.
That's a big commitment.
Yeah! I mean, that's like using Metamorphosis in a fight where Oppo can just speed scroll out. That's a huge commitment. A strange panic move, really. You don't see a single blade and use it, but now he's running in. He's going to get value out of it. Determined to get value. I think it's 45 seconds. He should have 30 seconds left. Illusions tanking the brunt of damage here. Not a bad fight here by HunteR. Great wraparound.
Yeah, and I think HunteR's right now. Pride, come out. You're surrounded. Because there's Huntresses in the top, and there's a Keeper on the left-hand side, supported by archers. We're currently being threatened by one lonely Orc, by the way, with a lightning shield on him. So that was great AoE damage. And the Orc is actually holding stronger than I thought he could. That was a nice 2-prong attack here from HunteR, but he can't really break through because, once again, there are these feisty, annoying snake wars that the Huntresses just can't really seem to manage to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was a really cool wraparound. He got a few shamans, didn't focus fire as much as he could. Oh, great Humana pot on Keeper. That's big. Very low units here by Pride. Has he got a speed scroll to get out? No. One casualty, the retreat. Is there an acid bomb?
Yeah.
There's a second
This is where
casualty.
the acid bomb already ticks down heavily onto these units. Another one. 4 or 5 units now taking heavy damage over time. The Headhunter goes down. Not the beefiest units to talk about. Same can be said about the Shaman. So if the Alchemist lands a good bomb here onto the backline, the Orc army is going to suffer. Now, Raiders are joining the fray, Grubby. That means additional frontline. CC has that ensnare ready. Always useful, and a little bit of extra damage against the Huntresses too.
Exactly. And finally, if there's ever a case of a base attack, they'll have more base pressure than mere grunts and shamans would. Now, Blade Master has a heal salve, is not healing himself, so he's low and not in a position to fight. Basically, Pride just lost his expansion. In this movement, in this blissful unawareness of where HunteR is.
Yeah.
HunteR, once again, he has the TP. He slowly builds this up, doesn't go straight for the expo. We see the TP coming out only now.
Even more time being wasted, right? Because the Blade Master was fully equipped. He dropped a salve as well. That is basically potentially the difference in this expansion, falling or surviving. HunteR right-clicks on the Great Hall, tries to take that down, loses a couple of Huntresses, but if he takes the building down, that's oh so worth it. Has a TP off himself here, uses Shadow Melt to protect all of the other units. Nighttime always favoring the Night Elves here as well, and that is a big hit for Pride, because Orc expansions, as you guys all know, they take so long to rebuild.
Did you see that HunteR just TP'd out in the animation of a smiley face? He TP'd out and there's literally like one big eye, one small... What?
What? No GG?
Disconnect.
Disconnect quest?
HunteR left the game. There's no way he would have wanted to leave.
Oh.
So, okay. A recap. HunteR was at 57 food, 2 versus 1 base. Pride, 61 food, 1 base. Hero levels, slightly in favor of HunteR. Army upgrades, I don't know where HunteR was at.
At least 1-1 if I saw that correctly last time.
Yeah, and it's 4-3 versus 3-3 heroes. I think HunteR had a disconnect or a PC crash.
Yeah.
What's that production? Disconnect.
Yes, disconnect. Unfortunate.
It's impossible to call that game, I think. Yes, HunteR had defensive position. He was going to heal up. He killed the base. He had better hero levels. And he had a nice set of archers.
Yeah.
And he's been doing well in the last few engagements. Nonetheless, we can't forget what happened with Pride, where he squeezed some wins with 1 base armies. He was about to move in on the expansion. I don't know what was going to happen there, to be honest. I don't know.
As you said, the Orc army was too big, too sizable still to call it an one-sided game. I fully agree. And if we remember what happened in, I think it was game 3, where HunteR just, ran into the Orc base time after time after time, only to find himself out-leveled at some point because he lost too many units and eventually lost the game as well. So I think it is indeed safe to say that the game was not fully decided, and we're going to wait and see if HunteR can actually make it back. And if he makes it back in time, I'm pretty sure there will be a result or a solution to be found that pleases all of us.
The referees have made a decision. The refs have made a decision. There will be a remake. HunteR also said that he had a disconnect, which means he's not absent. It's not like his PC went.
Yes. It's not
there
like
will be a rematch. Yeah.
There we go. Good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Whew. This series does not find an unruly end, but an epic one indeed. And we're going to remake it.
It's an unfortunate happenstance, but it was impossible to call. And so both players had a chance to win, and I think it was a good decision by the admins. There will be a rematch.
Yep. Same map, of course. Same races, same rules. Nothing changes. I like that game name, by the way. Kagekiri must have felt very pleased when he opened that one.
The best game name in the world. Of course, we can't say it.
that is your time, basically. If you can't hold the suspense, if you can't endure it anymore, grab a drink, grab some snacks real quick while we're setting up the lobby and while we're waiting for the players to join.
Okay, I
Go
will.
for it.
Thanks.
Yep.
I'll be right back. I thought I could just hold out and hold nature calls until the final game, but it looks like we're in it for the long run. Be right back.
Go for it, Grubby. I got you. All right. So, yeah. Oh, we're going for a break? All right, we're going for a small break, guys. So we'll be back with the final game between HunteR and Pride in no time. Don't you go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, your prayers have been answered and HeroesHearth have a remake. And that means we're going to find out who takes away the title of Fight Night Champion. Will HunteR defend it? Or will Pride snatch it away from his Night Elf hands? Find out.
The game that is aptly named Garlic Banana. The game name is Garlic Banana. Thank you, Mr. Host. It has started. I can safely say it now because no uninvited guests can join on. It's underway again, and the positions are the same. Now, if you just tune in, score is 2-2. It's best of 5. Winner gets $200. Loser, $100. And there's a bounty. The prize pool that has been beefed up by generous donators this week and 2 weeks ago is going to whoever wins this match, be it the challenger or the previous winner in HunteR. And they can take it with them. They can leave the show with it and they'll take the money home in a suitcase full of esports dollars. But they can also stay, take on the next challenger a fortnight from now. That's 2 weeks in all the English. And keep trying to buff up that pool. This is a rematch of an unfortunately disconnected game. Probably HunteR had a slight lead, but it was so winnable for Pride. And also HunteR was the one that disconnected. There was a call to have a rematch. Great decision. We're going to get our show. This is Game 5, second version. Let's go.
Now the question remains, can Pride actually find 2 more experienced homes? Or was that a thing that he cannot reproduce?
Yeah, it's very hard to get that again. If you believe that all the statistics are related, he just had a 5% chance to get the double XP tome. In order to get it again, like he did just now, that's a very small chance. Let's see.
Yeah.
To get 2 more XP tomes, he has a chance
Player's
of
forces are under attack.
0.0025 total.
Wow.
Of course, that's not really how stats work. It could just happen again now. He has a 1/5 chance to get XP tome on a camp like that. But the question is, HunteR, now that he knows this creep route, will he once again go for the spider crab limb ripper with the same timing that he just did, Kendric?
That is true. Of course, players are not, forced to actually reproduce the entire the game. No, they can definitely adapt and use the experience and use the knowledge that they have obtained from the previous round. So let's take a look at HunteR's movement and rotation. If he actually goes for a quicker expansion, for a different creep route. This time he found a Ring of Protection +2. As Grubby said earlier, do not underestimate. And guess what? Equal rights for everybody. Blade Master also starts with a ring. So completely balanced once again. Perfect RNG.
Yeah, and we see Pride now getting there, and he's like, "Hey, you aren't here." He had a decision to make.
Yep.
He had a decision to make: creep it anyway or go somewhere else, because he realizes he has been duped. HunteR adapted. This always happens in regames. When there's a player that suffered the disadvantage in a given scenario, they will be the one that changes it up. Like, it's very difficult mentally for the person who got a great result out of a set of moves to change it up. So you see that Pride is now stuck in a Groundhog Day of repetition. And HunteR's like, well, that sucked for me just now. I'm not going to do that again. And then Pride is like, okay, I'm going to look for you. No, I'm just going to go back to the camp. And that indecision shows a mental, slightly more instability than what HunteR is showing right now. It's usually the person that was either losing or lost at parts of the game that will end up playing better in the regame. Unless you can mind game yourself and say, this is a totally new game, open mind, I'm going to change things up if I must.
Player's forces
Yes.
are
This is
under
great
attack.
for HunteR. He's going to get a peon kill now.
Yeah, that is amazing. One entangle usually results in kill, especially when there's units to support this harass. Even
There's a
Treants
second.
could join the fray, but he wants to save the mana for more and more peons that will follow their comrades into the afterlife. The archer actually uses the stealth, the shadow melt, cannot be attacked. And oftentimes Night Elf players, they basically trade that harass for a town portal scroll. Sometimes orc players can actually deny the entrance by body blocking with a grunt. Doesn't even need to do so. Nice reveal here actually with the Dust of Appearance. Gets an archer kill for his troubles. But I think that was still a worthy harass. Once again, the lumber problems, the delayed mining time, all that economical damage can really hurt Pride in the long run.
He killed 4 peons.
A player's
Even
forces
not
are
counting
under
the lumber loss and the gold
Yeah.
loss, both of it,
Experience,
which is
right?
very true. Experience as well. And the gold of remaking 4 peons. That's 300 gold to remake peons. He lost mining time. His mine has 9,680. HunteR has 9,610. So he lost 80 gold from the mine. He lost 300 gold in reproduction. That's 380. And he lost
Right.
hundreds of lumber there as well. 100 experience to the keeper for that. Traded for only 40 from the archer. The only thing Pride succeeded in doing this game is making sure there is not any expansion.
Right.
And
Oh,
there
he doesn't
wasn't.
even get the last hit on that one. The sentry wards go over to HunteR's possession now. And oh boy, what a wonderful item, sentry Blade Master
forces
against
are
an
under
orc
attack.
that tries to expand. Now HunteR, has all the information he needs. Those sentry wards last for a very long time, and we know, Grubby, how vulnerable those orc expansions are. Now he's going to have a walk in the park when it comes to delaying and shutting down these possible expansion attempts.
Exactly. And he's moving in again with the 4 huntresses. 5th one coming up. Shop going down as well. Shadow scrounging by with a little bit of experience in the middle top of the map. Blade sees the flood of huntresses coming in with a keeper level 3 who put a sentry at the Ogre Lord to protect it. And he's just applying this pressure here. Now, this is an attack that HunteR has shown he doesn't need to get a lot of value out of. He does this as a action-reaction kind of thing. And his own response to forcing the orc to be at home at this time in the game is Tree of Life.
A player's
Being built
forces are
at the
under
bottom
attack.
right of the map. It starts now, and he achieves this over and over the same way. 5 Hunters double hero, you go to the Orc base, and then you start the expo. Does the Orc want to run across the map with his blade after he just went all the way home? No. So he doesn't, and the Tree of Life comes up. It's a pretty good strat by HunteR.
And HunteR seems to have his sixth sense activated right now. He knows in every move. Pride right now forces out the speed scroll to bring his units to safety. Actually has a little bit of a rallying mistake there, a movement mistake, goes back into the army real quick, takes additional damage. And I also like the sentry ward positioning in the middle of the map here next to the Ogre Lord camp. So we talked about the Ogre Lord being the strongest camp on the map available, drops good items, and can be abused. The AI can be manipulated. So now with that vision, HunteR knows exactly when or if his Orc opponent would go for such a move.
Exactly. And those wards, they will only last 5 minutes, but there's still 3.5 minutes left. The Orc can't go for it now, obviously. His main base is under attack. 40
There's
food forward.
no reinforced defenses ready here for the structure. The Orc burrows are a juicy, tempting target to face for the Night Elf. Another speed scroll needs to be used. Looks like Pride really doesn't want to fight and engage into this Night Elf army. Now, he finds a Shaman, that is. HunteR, that is. That's a valuable target. Keep in mind, Shamans are the greatest counter to anything the Keeper does, really. So if the Keeper himself eliminates his own greatest counter, he is free to reign supreme on the battlefield. And it feels like Pride is now caught in his own main base. He can't really go home. He can't really engage the Night Elf army. He's constantly running away from the champion, from Pride. From HunteR.
Yeah, exactly. The Grunts and Shamans have not got a good damage type against Huntresses. Only Snakes do. They're only level 1. All the Hunts are healthy. It's going to take a while to kill anything. And he really needs plenty of Shamans in order to pose a threat. And what's more, ideally, you like to save a... Oh, hold that thought for a second. He could go for the Purge. Expensive though, Kendric.
Yeah.
You go for the triple Purge, try to get the surround. Is it worth it? Pride has shown that he wants to do that. But one thing I really like what Pride has done, repeatedly, he tries to use his initial Shaman mana as little as possible. He'd rather run and preserve. So you start making a few Shamans early, about 2 minimum, to start their mana accumulation, their regeneration. Then the upgrade hits, and it transitions your larger max mana pool, and it preserves your current mana percentage. So you're actually gaining dozens of points of mana if you get your Shaman upgrade without having used any, while having a mana pool healthy right now. So every purge you use now is extra expensive if it happened before an upgrade, because now you're not converting an absolute number to the same percentage.
That's right.
So this is something Pride has done very well. He limits his early Shaman mana usage. Now finally he's getting level 2 Shadowhunter.
Yeah, and finally the expansion is on the way for her. It's actually entangling the Goldmine right now. Get some good experience and some good items there of that camp as well. But very well timed also by Pride, in my opinion, who almost synchronically creeps his own spot here. Has a peon ready, could try to go for an expansion. And finally, this iron grip around his base has been softened a little bit because HunteR, of course, had to go back to the opposite side of the map to clear this creep camp at the expansion. Now, the Blade Master sees what's going on, could try to actually go for the weakened tree, but with that reinforced armor, fortified armor, there's not really much for him to be done.
No info.
Now, be careful.
No info, and there's dust. He's dead.
That
Scroll
is
the beast.
that is it. Oh boy. Crucial misplay here by Pride. Not having shop control, not really going for an item that he needed to go for such a cheeky and brave maneuver. Some would call it almost
Foolish.
cheeky, foolish.
I mean, it's the same move as he's been doing, right? But it's a sad caricature of what he has been doing before. A mocking facsimile of that which has worked for him before. Level 2 blade, no invul. Mine is already far on the way. Dust is there. Keeper is present. One situation is not like the other, but he pretended it was. And perhaps on tilt, one of Pride's weakest games so far. As I said, usually the player that perceives himself to be disadvantaged from a rematch, they have a lot of mental issue to get back in there. And It is an art. It is your responsibility as a competitor to be as good as you can be at managing that. And undoubtedly, this will be a valuable experience for him. But for now, he's got to stay alive in this fight. And the Blade Master is 95% of the way done. Or in other words, totally missing.
He's almost there, but he needs to stay alive. But can he do it? Orc numbers are dwindling. The Night Elf bring into the base there as well. 1 shaman, 2-3 shamans, all in red health zones. And now with those illusions there as well, keeping a little bit of frontline as well. That is looking like a grim situation indeed. HunteR doesn't have to finish the game right now. He's so far ahead with that expansion running, with superior masses in army. He can come back at a later point in time. He can have the shop right now to buy some scrolls, perhaps, and invul as well. He can heal up and then perhaps end the work that he started a couple of moments ago.
Yeah, he's got the heal scrolls. His units are pretty low. 2 archers are at the bottom. Rallied wrongly, let's say. He's 51 food. HunteR is in a very awkward position, but he pushes in aggressively. Yeah, protection scroll, heal scrolls, acid bomb, shamans dropping low. There's not enough firepower here on the side of Pride.
And once again, the archers, the hidden MVPs of this series, in my opinion, with that huge range, strong damage as well. The 2-1 attack upgrades are definitely doing some work there as well. The heroes on the side of HunteR now are dropping, at least the Alchemist is. The tower gets cancelled as well. Perhaps that could have been another saving grace here. But one Grant after the other is falling. The heroes are dropping low. The Entangle goes through and the Shadowhunter has no items to save himself. And there goes the final bird. And the Shadowhunter says goodbye. And Pride also has to say goodbye. GG. The champion defends his title. And HunteR reigns supreme once more after a nail-biting series, which couldn't have been any more entertaining, quite honestly, guys. When I started streaming, when I started casting with Grubby today, you know, after doing the interviews as well, I was like, you know what? HunteR looked so strong 14 days ago. I think that's probably going to be a 3-0, maybe a 3-1. But man, Pride did make his name all honor and made us, at least the Orc fans amongst you.
Yeah, and maybe sometime in the future, we will have Pride coming back into the fight night. He can lick his wounds and prepare for the next challenge. We'll remember him as having fought valiantly on May the 3rd here against HunteR in 2019 with a 2-3 score. It was very close. Well played. But HunteR is the one that gets the glory tonight.
Yeah.
The lion's share of the prize money and an ever-increasing bounty where he can choose to walk away or face the next. Now, Kendric, do you know when players decide whether they will face their next challenger? Do they get to know who it is first?
So we can announce the next contender already, the next challenger, I guess. It was, you know, the new player has been contacted and the new player also agreed that he would be able to, live up to the challenge. So the new rival, the new challenger in 14 days from now for HunteR will be none other than Warcraft 3 and StarCraft legend Kiwi. So
Kiwi Kaki.
Kiwi Kaki. Not Kiwi Kid, but Kiwi Kaki. There we go.
Kiwi Kaki, so cool. The orc from Canada, Quebec, I believe. Quebec, if that's how you say it. Speaks English, speaks French. A genius of the game. I have, with pleasure, listened to many of his strategies and ideas about the game way back when and now. Has his own ideas about the game. Plays things no others do. He comes up with his own strats. He's like
a particularly crazy strategy that you remember him do?
All kinds of things. Farseer, Alchemist, Headhunter push, TC in Orc Mirror. You know, there's all kinds of things that most people don't do, and he's confident about his decisions with these kind of strats. He's like the singer-songwriter that went indie and doesn't have an agent and comes up with his own stuff, but in Warcraft 3. So now that HunteR has set the stage and won victoriously, and he can languish on that for several days, but after that he has to get ready again because a new orc challenger is waiting, and Kiwi Kaki has been watching, and he will have learned from this, and he's going to bring his own brand of Warcraft 3 to bear upon HunteR, and I'm very excited for 2 weeks from now, Kendric.
I can't wait. And if there's one thing that 14
One
days.
sec, your mic
round.
dropped for a bit. It happened a few
Okay.
times, but I really want to know what you were saying this time. So please repeat.
Okay. So what I want to see in 14 days from now, what I really want to see is I want to see a player, I want to see an orc player at that, who pushes HunteR to the limit so that he will have to shy away from that mass tier 1 style. I really want to see HunteR with mountain giants, perhaps talents, perhaps different hero choices as well, because I think today the games were good, no doubt about that, but they were also a little bit predictable. So let's see if Kiwi Kaki can maybe make the champ sweat and force him into or out of the comfort zone, away from the tier 1 mass, maybe into some more tier 2, tier 3 play. For now, though, Grubby, ladies and gentlemen out there, we have more coming up right after this fight night, more Warcraft 3. So all of you who love the game as much as we do, you better stay tuned, because we have the lads playing Warcraft 3 together. That is going to be one hell of an entertaining show. And feel free to follow the channel if you haven't done so already. Feel free to recommend us to others. Spread the word about the fight night. We are all having a wonderful blast, and it is such a cool thing to cast this with Grubby, to cast this for you, and to watch these awesome matches. Now, the final words I'll leave to you, Grubby, before we sign off and lead over to the lads.
Likewise, Kendric. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we were lucky with the games today. It's great to cast with you once again after our time of casting together in Heroes of the Storm. And welcome once again to the Warcraft 3 scene, HeroesHearth. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit that follow button, because a lot more Warcraft 3 action is coming to you on this channel. And from Kendric and myself, we'll also see you in 2 weeks from now, once again on Friday, with Fight Night Showdown number 3. Cheers.